Welcome to my first ever attempt at a Youth to Gold save, made famous by Omega Luke. I'm pretty sure these are the rules. Well, they're the rules according to ChatGPT anyway. It is relatively straightforward. All we need to do is sign nobody older than the age of 19. If a player is older than 30 in our squad, we need to sell them, and that's pretty much it. To be more specific from ChatGPT's perspective, they have basically said focus on youth development, which is kind of obvious if you can't be keeping players after the age of 30, but also sell players strategically. So sometimes you don't have to sell necessarily only the players over 30, you can maybe sell a 25-year-old for a nice bit of money to bring in a 19-year-old who's going to be pretty good. And as you can see, the team that we have picked to do this challenge with is VfB Stuttgart. And the reason I've picked VfB Stuttgart is because back in FM, I'm going to say 18, maybe, I did a save with VfB Stuttgart and it was really good fun. I don't even think it was on YouTube. It was just a game that I did by myself and I absolutely loved it. I thought, you know what? Let's do another save with them. So sticking to the rules of Youth to Gold, obviously, we need to sell any players who are over the age of 30. And looking at our squad currently, so we are on the 5th of June 2025. We have holidayed forward effectively 2 full seasons in game, and we've only got 2 players over the age of 30 in the in the first team squad. So we've got Ryman and Duksch, could be his name, but also if we go to our dev center, we do have VfB Stuttgart 2, and we also have a man called Fabian Bredlow, who's also 30 years old, so he needs to leave as well. We have a gigantic squad because of VfB Stuttgart 2, basically. These players, I feel like, are never going to make it good for us. Potential-wise, absolutely every single one of them, bar Herworth, isn't ever going to get close to being good enough for us, and arguably Herworth as well, at 3.5 star potential ability, I'm not even convinced he's going to do any good. So then on the 5th of June, the transfer window, I don't believe it's open yet, or if it is, we haven't done any business anyway. We have £1 million to spend, which it sounds worrying. I'm not concerned at all because we have players that we can move on and arguably will be moving on. Main thing we need to focus on is obviously if we can only buy players up to the age of 19 years old, we can't buy a 20-year-old, we can buy 19 years old. We need to make sure that, first of all, we're buying ones of high potential, but also ones that could improve our starting 11. I think that's going to be the big struggle. And as we jump forward to the 2nd of September, we are still looking at the finances, and everything looks a lot healthier. We have £150 million in the bank, £114 million worth of transfer budget, and the transfer window is closed. So going right back to the very start of the save, like I said, this started in technically 2023, but I think some of these transfers have actually happened in real life, like the January one. So Eduardo, that's his name, I believe does play for VfB Stuttgart, same as Stendel does play for Burnley, or was not Burnley on loan. But these are the transfers that took place basically without my knowledge, really. So Latassa, Brandon Williams on a free, Dutch joining Barrow, Humphreys on a loan deal, Dahoud on a loan deal, and Ryman also joining on a loan deal. Obviously, these 2 players should be going back to their clubs. And there's also, if in case you're interested, a whole bunch of players leaving the clubs on permanent deals, some of them on loan deals. The big one there is Angelo Stiller moving to Manchester United, which is actually a transfer that I did, which is why we've got a big chunk of money. I didn't really want to do this, but I kind of felt like we needed to because of our transfer budget being so low, and he's got such a high, not high potential, but high value. I mean, I assume he's got a high potential as well, but high value. We had to cash in. We've got obviously a lot of money coming in for Stiller, but he wasn't the only player leaving on a permanent deal. Marvin Dutch, a player who was over the age of 30, has left, moving over to AZ Alkmaar for £2.8 million. We signed him last season for 6.75. It's a sensible bit of business. Maximilian Mittelstadt, which is a great name, has moved over to Hoffenheim. He has gone for, I believe, £3 million. Obviously, he was not actually over 30. He's 28 years old. He was on loan at Hoffenheim last season. I think this was kind of a deal that we had to accept. Manuel Ryman, one of our players over 30 years old, he's moved over to West Ham, £600,000. Not a lot of money, but we did just have to get rid of him. He's not quite over 30, but he will be in literally 4 days' time, so I thought, you know what, let's get rid of him. Matus Bero, the Slovak international, has moved over to FC Utrecht. He's gone for literal pennies, £400,000, and we paid $3 million for him last year. And then you must be wondering where all of this transfer budget and actual bank balance has come from. Well, 3 other players have left for big deals. Joshua Wagnerman has moved over to Borussia Dortmund. He has gone for £30 million. We brought him in for £3.2 million, apparently. He's moved over for £30 million. It's a big sum of money for Wagnerman. Another big sum of money is Hiroki Ito, the Japanese international. He's moved over to Newcastle for £34.5 million, brought in for just $350,000. And finally, also moving over to Newcastle is Serhou Girassi. He has moved for £17.25 million, which sounds not enough, not a lot of money, certainly not enough money. That was his minimum fee release, so he had to basically accept that. I did try and offer him a new deal. He didn't want to accept the new deal, so he's moved over to Newcastle. We have reinvested quite a lot of money, though. First of all, the elephant in the room. Saud Abdulhamid is 26 years old. We are not supposed to be signing players over the age of 19. He was agreed before I actually joined the club. He's come in on a free transfer from Al Hilal. I will probably be selling him within the next couple of seasons, I reckon. And then going up in value, first of all, was Kevin Situ, a free transfer, formerly of Monaco. Obviously not good enough for the first team, but I'm hoping there's some potential there, one for the future. For £350,000, we have gone to Dynamo Dresden and signed Arthur Herman. He is also not good enough at the moment. I'm putting all these players straight into the first team, by the way, in hopes that they are going to develop and maybe get a bit of game time here and there. Herman, like I said, definitely one for the future. Probably one for now, but maybe shouldn't be for now, is Arjan Malic. In fact, he's sat in the under-19s. I do need to promote him to the first team. He has come in from SV Reed, 20 years old. He wasn't 21 when I signed him. Okay, he was 19 when I signed him. He has cost £1.7 million. Oh, another elephant in the room, a completely different shaped elephant this time. It is Mahmoud Dahoud, who has signed from Brighton on a permanent deal, 29 years old. Not ideal. He'll be 30 on New Year's Day. He has joined from Brighton. We had him on loan last season, and there was a deal in there to sign him for £1.8 million, which we have done, which is kind of annoying because I didn't really want him anyway. The first of our new gens to join the club is Mikel Gonzalez, 17 years old, Spanish under-19 international, signed from Atletico Pamplona, which is Osasuna. I believe he has cost £2 million. I think he could be good. He spent last season out on loan. I don't think he's going to be good enough to play for us anytime soon, but his value is ridiculously high, which says to me, this potential is not a joke. There is potential in Gonzalez because of the value being so high. Next up is Oliver Lukic, £3.4 million, Croatian central midfielder, right winger, striker, attacking midfielder. Not quite sure where he could possibly play, but he's obviously young enough to sign for us. He's come in, he's definitely going to be a bit of a squad player, but probably good enough to get some game time right now. We've got one more player to mention, and that is Hassan Diao, a 19 years old Spanish under-21 international signed from Real Betis. He is our Girassi replacement. And I'm not sure whether it's a good idea because Girassi's a striker and this guy's a winger. But this is what we've gone for. Diao has cost 25, possibly going up to £30 million. So there has been a lot of transfer business. In fact, there was one more player that we missed, is Lachlan Samuel, a player that I had on loan, or actually signed on a permanent deal for my Brisbane Roar side. If you want to go check the channel out, you can watch 10 seasons of me in charge of Brisbane Roar in the Australian A-League. He's come in on loan until the end of the season. Basically, a little bit of squad depth. Leaving the club, there have been a whole bunch of other players as well. Not going to go through them all. Obviously, you can see all of the names there. I believe we have got rid of all the 30-year-olds. We will double check. So, we have got, the oldest now is Dahoud at 29, we've got Stenzel at 29, and we've got Vladimir Anton also at 29. So these three players will be sold by the summer next season. And in VfB Stuttgart 2, we have Brad Lowe still at the club. He has gone out on loan, and I think he's out of contract soon. Maybe not. Nobody wanted him on a permanent deal, so we've loaned him out, which I feel like that's fine. Okay, that's acceptable, right? He's not going to be at the club. We're never going to play him. I'm just going to get rid of him as soon as I possibly can. Right now, nobody wanted him. And I think, from a formation perspective, this is what we're going to go for. A 4-2-4 gegenpress straight out of the box. And we're going to be playing Diao. Like I said, he's going to be that Girassi replacement. This would have been Girassi's position. Diao is going to be playing as a pressing forward. Everyone else is kind of up for grabs. I feel like Silas might get a lot of game time maybe as that striker, although I think Silas is probably the right winger, isn't he? Or Enzo Emilio could be that right winger. Basically, I think we've got a good squad. We do have quite a hefty squad. There's a lot of players in here. We've got Dennis Seaman, by the way. I didn't even realise he was at the club, but he's amazing. Okay, 19 years old. In theory, I don't need to ever buy a goalkeeper because Dennis Seaman's here, which is perfect. We have got a couple of youngsters, Perceivers, actually came through our youth intake in season 1, maybe? Possibly looks like season 1, actually. So he was here when I joined the club. Probably one for the future, but he is getting into the first team, hopefully get some game time there. We've got a few, like 19 years old, 17-year-old Mikel Gonzalez, as we know. Arthur Herman is one of the new signings. We've got Lukic. We've also got Kellen Slack, an English and German youngster. I think there's something good here as well, possibly up to 7 million. Says to me, he's got a bit of potential. We've also got Jules Shimanga Ngonga, might be his name, who also came through our youth intake in season 1, I believe. He's really, really quick. I'm not too convinced this is a good one. My coaches don't think he's good. I think there's something there, so we've put him into the first team as well. Who else have we got that's worth kind of mentioning? No one really. We've got a big squad. Like I said, we've got a lot of players. We do need to kind of work out what we don't need. But obviously, Season 1, we kind of just have to deal with what we're given. Also, in Season 1, obviously, we are in the Europa League. I say obviously, it's not obvious. We are in the Europa League. We're obviously in the DFB Pokal and the Bundesliga. The reason why we're in the Europa League, if we jump back to Season 1, they finished in 5th place. In Season 2, they finished in 5th place. So Season 3, if we finish in 5th place, which is where we currently sit, I take that as a win, okay? Because in theory, we have certainly weakened our squad with selling some players like your Itos and your Jurassi's. And if we can kind of maintain, finish in 5th place, I'll be happy with that. We have kicked off the season winning twice against Schalke and Freiburg, losing against Hoffenheim. I'm okay with that. Europa League, do we care? Do we care about the Europa League right now? Ultimately, in 10 seasons with this Stuttgart side, I want to win the Champions League. That's my ultimate goal, is I want to win the Champions League. I want to win the Bundesliga. I want to win the Champions League. So Europa League, if we can win it, that'll be nice. I'm not too fussed right now. Right then, without further ado, let's jump forward to the start of the next transfer window. It will be around, I believe, probably the 1st of January. Half of the season will have been played, or most of the season. Most of the season? Some games, a quantity of games will have been played in the Bundesliga, so we'll see how well things have gone. I want to be in the top 6. That's where I want to finish. With 7th. 7th place, it's fine. 7th place is okay. We have drawn just once against Augsburg. 8 defeats. Some of them looking pretty sizable. Bayern and Leipzig there. 7-1 defeat against Leipzig is not good. A 4-0 against Union Berlin as well. At home, it's not a good result. Europa League, we're 18th. 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 defeats. A 7-0 win against Anderlecht, 4-1 against Roma. 2 draws. Utrecht and Besiktas, and 2 defeats against Rapid and Genk. Really? We should have beat both Rapid and Genk, but there we are. And then the DFB Pokal, we are into it's the quarterfinal, and that's where the board want us to get to. We're up against St. Pauli. I think we should be good enough to beat St. Pauli, you know. And it is a transfer window. It is the 1st of January. It is 8 a.m. in the morning. We've got £114 million to spend, which is a ridiculously large amount of money, and I will not be spending all of it. I will guarantee you that. I don't want this to basically become like every other Youth to Gold save that people do on YouTube, where they'll just buy the best players they can possibly get. I want to try and buy some players who maybe you won't see normally. I want to try and buy some players, new gens, for example, that I can kind of develop and turn into better footballers. So that's my goal. So I imagine in a month's time, we're going to have possibly £80 million left of that transfer budget. So January was pretty uneventful, which I'm kind of okay with. We sold 1 player. It is Sigas, might be his name. He has moved over to, technically, RB Salzburg, but he's playing for FC Liefering, which is the second team. He's gone for £72,000. So, yeah, not really a lot of money at all. But we have brought in 2 players as well. First of all, for £2.7 million signing from Union Berlin is Oluwaseun Ogbemudia? Maybe, could be his name. Ogbemudia, that's what I'm going to call him. 19 years old, obviously, under the threshold, which is good. Capped at under 18 level for the German national side. I think he's good already. He's obviously got some potential as well. I think this is really clever business. I say clever. It's not clever, obviously. But we've spent a small amount of money, £2.7 million, to buy a German footballer who should be playing for us right now and should get better. We've also paid £4.5 million for an Argentine footballer who can't really play for us. He can, but I don't think he's good enough to play for us at the moment. It is Ezekiel Amato, 19 years old, 9 under 20 caps, no goals so far to his name. He's a 6'6" centre-back with 16 heading and 17 jumping reach. If I knew how to do set pieces and sort out the corners where you put, I think, a centre-back at the front post, he'd score 20 goals a season. Maybe even more. We're probably not going to do that. But Amato is in. He's coming as a fringe player. Probably not going to play a huge amount of football. But I think this is clever business as well. So that is it. I think I said Amato was 4.5. It was £4.2 million. That is all we have done. So we've still got £108 million worth of transfer budget to spend. £117.5 million in the bank. So far, when it comes to the league, we are now 7th place, which is exactly where we were a minute ago. I don't think we've lost any more games. I think we've drawn 1 more, maybe. I think I'm okay finishing 7th place in the table. I think this is fine. There is a bit of a gap between us and Frankfurt in 6th place, so the 5-point gap that we need to try and close. But maybe Season 2 out of Europe could be a good thing. Speaking of Europe, we have made it through the group stage. We are up against PAOK, how do we do in the league in the end? Finishing 14th. So we picked up one more victory, a 2-1 win against Red Star. We also drew with Sporting, and we haven't lost any more games because those were the only 2 matches that we have lost. So I'm okay with that. Obviously, when we jump forward then to the knockout phase, PAOK of Greece, I think we should be good enough to get past those. And we don't know who we're getting in the round of 16 at the moment because we haven't got there. So we've just got one more thing left to do, and that is to jump to the end of the season where we'll obviously see how things go in the 3 competitions we're in, but we'll also have a youth intake, which we'll take a look at. And then we'll also take a look at some of the players who are in the squad, and also some of the players who we will be probably looking to replace in the summer. Kicking things off then with the DFB Pokal, we lose against HSV in the semi-final, a 2-0 defeat, Leipzig, HSV in the final, eventually won by Leipzig. It would be nice to win this, but obviously, Season 1, the fact that we got to the semi-final, that's not too bad. And in the Europa League, we got knocked out by Spurs in the quarter-final, which is annoying because we did actually beat them. We lost 3-0 in the first match and then 4-3 victory in the second, losing 6-4 on aggregate. Spurs then go on to lose against Roma Bilbao, beating Lyon in the semi-final. And the final is won by Athletic Bilbao in extra time. And the Bundesliga, we finished in 8th place. If we finished in 7th, where we have been literally all season, we would have qualified for the Europa Conference League. Instead, we dropped down. In fact, we were 7th. We actually dropped down all the way to 10th by the looks of it, with 1 match to go, and then jumped up a little bit in the end. So finishing 8th place in the table. I'm not too disappointed. I will double check though. Are the board? The board are not too disappointed. They are satisfied. They did want me to qualify for Europe. Next season, they want me to qualify for the Europa Conference League. So next season, we need to really finish in the top 6. And to do it, we've got £106 million to spend. It's gone down a little bit because we've actually brought in a player, but he's not going to join yet until the summer. But we'll have a look at him at the start of Season 2. Speaking of Season 2, we are going to have, I think, 3 players that we might need to sell in the summer. We know about Dahoud. He joined from Brighton. We have to sell him. It's annoying because we brought him in. HSV want him already, so we've already got some suitors available for Dahoud. Stenzel also needs to be leaving. He's wanted as well. I think he's actually out of contract. He is out of contract in a month, so we don't need to worry too much about that. This one, however, concerns me. Vladimir Anton, 29 years old at the moment, will turn 30 on the 20th of July. I feel like we need to. We need to sell him in that transfer window, don't we? I'm not too sure there's going to be too many people who will want him, purely because he's going to be 30 years old, and I'm going to want £30 million for him, which is a lot of money. Also, he is a very good footballer. The other player that technically we don't have to sell in the summer, but I think I might try and do it, and again, much like Anton, could be a difficult sell. It is Atakan Karazor, who is a 29-year-old German defensive midfielder, but he's worth £35 to £38 million, and I just don't think anyone's going to want to pay what I want to sell him for. I set myself a rule, by the way, that if they are 30 in January, I don't need to sell them in January. It's just the summer transfer window. Start of the season. I can't start a season with a bunch of 30-year-olds. That's kind of my rule. So there's 4 players there in the first team, and if we actually look at all 4 of them, 43 appearances for Karazor, 40 for Anton, 14 starts for Stenzel, and 9 starts for Dahoud, and then a whole bunch off the bench as well. That is a lot of players that we need to replace in the summer. We obviously, all of them are central defenders or midfielders as well. That's a worry. So we've got Lukic, who I'm training up to be a defensive midfielder, by the way. So maybe he's going to kind of slot in. We've also got, when it comes to defenders, we've got a few players here who obviously new to the club. So Ogbamudia, that's what I'm calling him. He's 19, only played 2 matches, 3 off the bench as well, so maybe he's going to get more game time. Maybe that's what we need to do. Amato as well, 7 starts for him. Gonzalez got 2 starts and 5 off the bench. So maybe the centre-backs I'm not too concerned with Anton leaving and Stenzel leaving. The defence midfield is a problem because we literally don't have anyone to play there. I think the summer's going to be busy. Unless we have an absolute gem in one of these 7 men. And I'll tell you now, no. The best player to come through is Ilbabala, who is a 16-year-old attacking midfielder. I mean, mentally looks pretty good, but nothing really outstanding. We've got Jonas Rudolph, Again, looks all right mentally, got some good numbers. Hawk Baumgartel, I quite like him, but I feel like that's just because of his name. He is no relation, by the way. I feel like he's kind of maybe. I don't know. Not too convinced, though. Kowalski, not too convinced on Kowalski. Gregory Blake, who is a striker. Again, not too convinced on him. Evan Zapier, we're starting to move into the good talents here. It looks a bit rubbish. And Sekir Khan, again, doesn't look particularly good. So I think, like I said earlier, the summer's going to be busy. I will double check quickly. Any 30-year-olds in here? I feel like not anymore. Bredlow we need to get rid of, but we know that anyway. So that is season 1 in the bag from a league perspective. It's okay. The board are kind of content with where we are. Financially, we are in a very good place. We need to do some real big scouting over the summer to find some defence midfielders and some centre-backs who can slot straight into the starting 11. Because we are going to lose some big players in the summer. It's season 2 of our Youth to Gold save with VfB Stuttgart, a save where I desperately try and sell anybody over the age of 30 or even anybody close to the age of 30 and replace them with a bunch of teenagers who probably can't play football at the moment. Point in case is Mikel Gonzalez, who's an 18-year-old centre-back who I spent a few £1 million on, and he's not even close to being good enough. However, he is worth £13 to £16 million, so maybe one day in the future he will be. In Season 2, we are kind of in a bit of a predicament because we have 4 players who, in theory, we will need to be selling over the course of the season. We have Dahoud, Stenzel, Anton, and Karazor. Stenzel is out of contract, so we don't need to worry too much about him. However, Dahoud, Anton, and Karazor all need to leave the club, and 2 of them are worth £30 million apiece, and they are also all from the same positions. We've got 2 centre-backs and 2 defensive midfielders leaving the club, so we definitely need to replace them. But the good news is, we do have £106 million to do so, plus any money that we bring in from selling these 3 players as well. When it comes to on the pitch, we are in just 2 competitions this season, the DFB Pokal and the Bundesliga. We are not in any European competition because we just missed out. We just missed out on Europe last season because we dropped down to 8th place. 7th place would have got us Europa Conference Leagues. Maybe Season 2 could be the season where we use this as a season of building. Speaking of building, let's jump forward then to the end of the first transfer window. Let's see how much of this £106 million we have spent. And also, let's see who we've sold. I'm going to start off with a little bit of a teaser. We have dropped from £106 million of transfer budget to £81 million of transfer budget. And we have sold some big players as well. So we've had a pretty expensive summer, I reckon. £58 million worth of players have left the club, and I'll let you try and work out the maths to see how much money we've actually spent. Kevin Situ, first up a player who joined in the first season for us. He's immediately left. He's gone to Schalke for £110,000. For £220,000, a player that came through our youth intake last season, Gregory Blake, has moved over to BMG. One of the 30-year-olds that we needed to get rid of is Mahmoud Dahoud. He has moved over to Werder Bremen. He has gone for £2.1 million, possibly going up to 2.6. We've actually made a profit on him, which is kind of a surprise. One of our higher goal scorers from last season is Juanmi Latasa, but unfortunately this season he is not going to be a goal scorer for us because he has moved over to Getafe in his native Spain for £2.4 million, possibly going up to 2.7. Saud Abdulhamid has also moved on. We brought him in last season, and by we, technically the previous manager brought him in last season on a free transfer, and I've already shifted him on to Crystal Palace. He has gone for a nice £18.5 million, which is good money. Good money for a player that, realistically, we should have never had in the club. And for possibly £41 million, Silas has moved over to Saudi Arabia, signing for Al Ali. It's a huge chunk of money for a 27-year-old. It's 32.5 up front, possibly going up all the way to £41 million. I didn't want to get rid of him, but when that money came in, I was like, it's too good to turn down. He was starting to get upset because he's now on £500,000 a week. So I thought, you know what, let's take the money. We've got some youngsters. We can obviously reinvest as well. The other player to leave has not technically left yet, and it is Vladimir Anton. He has moved over to Leeds on a loan deal, but it will be becoming permanent at the end of the season. This was kind of the only thing that I could really do. Do we even know? Can we find out how much this is for? I'm assuming £24 million. But yeah, Anton has moved to Leeds. I didn't obviously want to do it, but he's 30, and that's the rules of Youth to Gold. And joining the club for a total of £74 million. Okay, Lewis Allsop is the first one. He has not cost £74 million. Signing from Shrewsbury, an 18-year-old, he is definitely one for the future, but I actually quite like him now. He's very fast for a centre-back. He's a quick centre-back, which is good. He's cost £400,000. Moving up to a player that's cost £3.7 million is Elkin Arbeloda, who is a Colombian youngster, 18 years old. He's already gone out on loan to Heidenheim. He wasn't going to get game time this season. He's played once in the DFB Pokal, I assume for Heidenheim, scored a hat-trick. It was for Heidenheim, and he's actually doing really well. He's either scoring or getting assists. Amazing. For £3.8 million we have signed from Bayer. We have signed Noah Meyer. He's an 18-year-old central defender, 2 under-21s caps, and a goal to his name as well. He's got a weird shape. I'm not too convinced by this. He's better mentally than he is aerially. For a centre-back, that could be worrying, but I think it's okay. I think it's his jumping reach that's letting him down. For £7.5 million, it's silly money, okay? One of the things that our board wanted us to do was to sign players from German sides, and I went, okay, fine, we're going to do it. So this is what we've done. John Mullen is an American striker. £7.5 million is certainly too much money. Definitely one for the future, but might get the odd game time here or there, particularly now that Silas has left, although Silas was a right winger. Maybe Mullen becomes a right winger and gets loads of game time, who knows? And keeping up the trend of overpaying for players based in Germany, Marco Nicoli is an 18-year-old under-20 international signed from Schalke. He has cost a whopping £10.25 million. I don't think he's going to go any higher than that, but he's worth £40 to £49 million. So I think it's justified spending that money because he's actually 4 times more expensive now once we brought him to the club. So that's good. Oh, and it gets even more ridiculous. Yannick Schapendonk is a Dutch goalkeeper. It's also an amazing name. He is signed from PSV, formerly of Oxford United, on a little loan spell, for £23 million. We'll come back to Schapendonk in a minute because I know the question you're asking, but you've got Seaman or whatever his name is. Yeah, we nearly didn't. And finally, for £25 million, we have signed George Ilenikena, maybe could be his name. He is 20. He was 19, when we brought him. Not 18, that's not how time works. He was 19 when we signed him. He's turned 20 once we joined the club, basically. I think this could be a much better striker than Diao, who we had playing there last season. So we've done maybe some rearranging of positions. So Dennis, the 20-year-old, who obviously is our number one goalkeeper because he's absolutely ridiculous, nearly left the club in the summer because he has a minimum fee release, and I didn't even realise this, of about £4 million. And everyone was triggering it. Every single English club was triggering it. I think a whole bunch of German teams were doing it, a few Italian, a few Spanish. All the teams were triggering his minimum fee release. And I was like, oh no, we need a goalkeeper. We need a new number one goalkeeper. Hence signing Schapendonk. And then I basically went, what am I doing? Just offer him a new contract. And he accepted the new contract. He does still have a minimum fee release of £16 million. But that's much, much better than I think it was £4.6 million is what it was initially. And that's just not acceptable. If we were going to sell him, I'd rather get 50% of a future sale as well. But we've got now 2 really good goalkeepers in the shape of Seaman and Schapendonk. And before we talk about the fixtures and the results so far, I just want to draw your attention to Atakan Karazor, the Turkish 29-year-old. He will be turning 30 in a month and a bit in-game. I have set a rule for myself that once the initial transfer window closes, I cannot have any 30-year-olds in my team. In January, I'm not necessarily going to sell Karazor. I might sell him if something comes in good, because obviously we do need to sell him anyway in Season 3, but I don't have to if I don't want to. Now, you would think, because we are not in any form of international or European competition, things would be going well. We have started horrendously in the Bundesliga. We have beaten Hertha 4-1, but we have lost against Bayer and Werder Bremen, down in 15th place initially. And then at the DFB Pokal, we have a game up against Regensburg, I'm not quite sure how that's pronounced. We should obviously win that one. I'd like to win the DFB Pokal sooner rather than later. So we do need to turn things around. So now we're going to jump forward then to the 1st of January. The transfer window will open. Obviously, we can do transfer business in January if we really want to. Let's see how things go in the first half of the season. That's much better. We have turned things around, and in fact, we are now all the way up into 4th place in the table. Lots and lots of zeros. Lots of goals scored, not many goals conceded. 3 draws, 2 of them being 0-0s as well. And then 4 defeats, obviously, including the Bayer and the Werder one. We've lost to Freiburg and Bayern Munich, which is kind of acceptable. It does mean, though, does that mean we've beaten Leipzig? Have we beaten Leipzig? No, we've not played Leipzig. Okay, we've not played Leipzig, but that's fine. We've lost to all the teams ahead of us? Maybe? I don't know. What am I on about? Yeah, we've not actually played Leipzig yet. We play them on the 10th of January. That's fair enough. Okay, that makes sense. Elsewhere, the DFB Pokal, we are into the quarterfinal once again, so the board are happy because that's where they want us to get to. How did we do in the first round? We beat Auerbach just 4-1. We then beat Regensburg 1-0. We then beat Hertha 2-0, setting up a quarterfinal match against Borussia Dortmund, a match that inevitably we are probably going to lose that one. So at the start of the new year, with a transfer window open, a transfer budget of £81 million to spend, we're not spending all of it. I'm not sure how much we're going to spend. We're probably going to spend maybe, let's say £20 million. It's probably going to be if we can get some squad players. I don't think we're going to be able to get too many players who are going to improve the starting 11, but maybe some squad players and obviously players for the future because they do need to be 19 or under. So let's jump to the end of January, a few days into February most likely, and see what we've done. First of all, what we've done in the league is we've not moved anywhere. We have lost an additional match, the match against Leipzig. So every single team ahead of us, we have lost. And then obviously Freiburg and Werder as well. We've got a few draws and then 11 victories, including a 3-0 victory against Bayern Munich. That's good. We are joint on points with Frankfurt and Wolfsburg. Borussia Dortmund are not too far behind. HSV and Mainz also not massively far behind either. In fact, even Werder down in 10th, not too far behind. There is only 8 points between 10th and 4th place. In fact, 9 points between 10th and 3rd place. Anyway, is a transfer window, and obviously you are here to see what transfers we have done. In fact, 2 bits of business have taken place. First of all, Jovan Milosevic has moved on a loan to FC Lorient. He basically wasn't playing. Definitely one for the future. We are getting paid for him as well, which is quite nice to see. He's played 9 matches, scored 3, a few games last season as well, scoring just twice. So he's not really getting the game time, and sending him out to Ligue 1 will hopefully get some game time for him. And we've got one player joining the club as well. For £13.25 million, we have Robson Borges, who is a Brazilian at 19 years old, capped at under 23 level, central attacking midfielder and left winger. I think he's good. I mean, he's 2.5-star current ability, which is actually pretty decent. He's worth 13 to £13.5 million. So clearly, I didn't necessarily overpay for him. I think he's good. I'm quite happy with Robson Borges. And overall, this season, we've only spent £87 million. We've got £58 million has also left, or joined the club, from various players leaving. Want to just quickly show you, Karazor, I did kind of try and sell him, okay? I have transfer listed him. Nobody actually wanted to bring him in January. It's fine. He is going to be going in the summer. I'm not quite sure how or when, but Karazor will be leaving in the summer. And I think that's all we're going to need to do. Because, yeah, you've just turned 29, so you've still got another season technically playing for us. Everyone else is fine. And then especially when you look at VfB Stuttgart 2, the oldest player is just 23 years old. So we have cleared out all the old players. We are going to get very close within, 4 seasons' time. That's all we're going to have to worry about. Milio should be fine. Obviously, if we're doing 10 seasons, this is season 2, so we've got 8 more seasons to go. He's going to be 32 by the season 10, so we will get rid of Milio. I think all of these players will leave the club at some point, but no, everyone else under that doesn't have to leave the club. They could stay here until the end of 10 seasons. Right, then the next thing to do is to jump to the end of the season. Can we qualify for the Champions League? And also, can we win the DFB Pokal? Well, we're going to answer the second question immediately, and no, we can't, because we lose 2-1 against Borussia Dortmund, a Borussia Dortmund side that made it all the way to the final, but did lose against RB Leipzig. However, in the Bundesliga, we have finished 3rd place, just 3 points behind Leipzig as well. We have qualified for the Champions League, and I imagine because we are in the top 4 leagues, I will just double check, we should be going straight into the group stage. We do go straight into the league phase. So there's no qualifying round for us. That is absolutely perfect. Some very good wins there. 5-1 against Leipzig, 6-1 as well against BMG. Anyone else near the top of the list beating Bayer, who have finished in 5th place. Dortmund finishing in 4th. We beat them 2-1 as well. And also our new striker, Elenikena, still not sure if that's how it's said, is the top goal scorer in the league. Just having a quick double check. Are the board happy? They do seem pretty happy. We have obviously qualified for better. They wanted us to qualify for the Europa Conference League. We've qualified for the Champions League. So that's obviously very good. They want us to sign players based in Germany, which it's not easy to do. They're quite expensive. The supporters are obviously also quite happy for us, which is always nice to see as well. From a youth intake perspective, we have got a few players, but one man stands out. It is Belmin Striegel. Is he any good, though? I mean, he's got some numbers. He's certainly got some numbers in some places, which is a ridiculous thing to say. But is he good? I like his mental numbers. The determination 17 is good. Work rate 13 is not amazing, but it's not terrible either. He's got some decent-ish technical numbers with the first touch and the technique. Not massively high, but high enough for a 15-year-old. Maybe Striegel is a player that we need to keep an eye on. We've also got Andre Volk, who, he's a footballer. Luis Kabongo, he doesn't look too bad. I'd say he's more of a centre-back than a full-back. Nick Ack, If we can click on him, there we go. Nick Ack is, yep, he's a footballer. Sure. Frin Beran, he looks okay. I don't know why. I feel like the technical and the speed is throwing me off here. But he's looking kind of okay. We've also got Khan Isik, who is a central midfielder. Again, doesn't look horrendous. We've got Friedel, another central midfielder. And we've got Sebatin Tash, who, again, he looks more of a centre-back. But then again, he's 5'11". Why have we signed this guy? Who agreed that one? So just taking a very quick look at the squad, I've sorted this by goals scored. We have 3 clear players making a massive impact. We have Enzo Emilio, who is 24, so he is still a child, scoring 12 league goals. He is wanted by Al Ittihad. There could be some big money coming our way. Diao actually still scoring a lot of goals, getting 13 goals. Where has he been playing? He's been playing on the right-hand side and the left, actually, so that's obviously good. And Ilenik Henna has been our lead striker, scoring 21 goals. That was a sensible transfer. I'm happy with that transfer. I was worried that 25 million was too much. I did look at his stats, kind of moneyballed it slightly by looking how well he did for Antwerp and thought maybe he can kind of replicate that for us. He has, which is good, and he's still only 20. And as I did mention earlier, we only have one player that we need to sell in the summer, and that is Karazor. I might look at selling Furic if we need to. Both of these players combined have played 61 times for us this season, which is a lot of matches that we need to try and replace. So we might need, we're going to need another defence midfielder. That's a struggle. Genuinely, we are struggling with defence midfielders. We've got Di Benedetto, who is very good, and I think we've actually been playing. I'm just looking literally at the appearances here. So Di Benedetto would have played a lot. Of course, it's going to be Karazor. So those two were our main defence midfielders. So Karazor will be leaving. We desperately need a new defence midfielder, unless one of these centre-backs pushes up to be a defence midfielder. Maybe season 3 is the year of Mikel Gonzalez as a defence midfielder. I don't think he's going to be good there, but maybe this is just what we need to do. Just try and unlock some of that potential. Well, season 2 then is in the bag, and we've qualified for the Champions League, which means season 3 is going to be an interesting one, especially with nearly £80 million worth of transfer budget to spend, and only one player who is going to be 30 years old that we need to get rid of in the summer. Fresh off the back of our 3rd place finish in the Bundesliga in Season 2 of our Youth to Gold save, we enter Season 3 in the Champions League, and I genuinely have no idea what to expect or how far I think we can go in this competition. My brain says we'll get knocked out in the group stage, but realistically, could we win it? No, don't be silly. Obviously, being a Youth to Gold save, the main objective here is to sell old people and buy young people. It's a little bit more complex than that, but if they are over the age of 30 in a transfer window, I will try and sell them. If they are under the age of 20, so if they are a teenager, I'm allowed to buy them. I am not allowed to buy anybody who is 20 or older. And it means already, before we've even clicked continue for this season, we have sold a player, Vladimir Anton, the 30-year-old Uzbek. He should have technically, I believe, been sold last season, but we couldn't sell him. He went out on loan instead to Leeds and has made that deal permanent for £24 million or £23.5 million, so we've done quite well. No other business has taken place as of yet. Financially, we're in a very, very good situation because basically season 1 and 2, and now 3, we've sold players for huge, huge sums of money, and we've not really been able to spend it. I mean, we have been able to spend that money back, but I don't want to spend £80 million on a 19-year-old because I think they might get good at football. That will almost certainly change. Because this is a Youth to Gold save, obviously we do need to sell players who are 30 or older. We have got one player who we do need to get rid of, and that is Atakan Karazor. He is a 30-year-old Turkish international. He's very good. I wouldn't want to sell him if we were playing this properly. I say properly normally, but we do need to sell him if we are following the rules. He is wanted, and he is wanted by Sheffield United and Wolves. I will loan him if we need to, but I will make sure that there is some form of permanent transfer taking place in there, although he is out of contract at the end of the season. So maybe there wouldn't be a need for a permanent transfer if we do that. We also have Chris Furic, who technically isn't 30 yet, but he's not too far away, so maybe we will be listening to some offers for you if some come in. Also, Dan Axel Zagadou, he does have some interest from Southampton. He is only 28, so he's technically got 2 seasons to go. But I might consider selling him as well, which could be a big risk because we don't have a huge amount of really good footballers. He is probably one of the better ones. Yeah, he is our 6th best player. Karazor's our 5th best player, technically going on star rating. So we might be in a bit of a sticky situation this season. So then over the summer, we have managed to move on £52 million worth of footballers. That does include the, what's his Anton deal, the Uzbek midfielder who's gone to Leeds United, but Karazor has also left the club. He has moved over to Al Feta in Saudi Arabia for £14.5 million, possibly going up to £18 million. That's a very good deal, I think. They got a good player for a decent fee there. Noah Meyer has also left the club and he has moved over to Frankfurt. I believe we brought him in. We did bring him in for £3.8 million, and I was being pestered. So badly pestered by about 15 different clubs in the Bundesliga to sign him, and I went, fine, take him. So we bought him for 3.8, we've sold him for 5.75, and there's a 50% sell-on in there. So, you know what? If you turn into a good footballer and you get sold, we're getting a bunch of money from that as well. Similarly-ish is Oliver Lukic. We did sign him at the start of the save, but we have moved him on to Dynamo. He basically just wasn't ever really going to make it for us. Played 16 matches in total. 14 of those 16 were off the bench. He's moved over to Dynamo for 3.3, possibly going to 4.1. So we have made a loss. Unless we get the 4.1, then we've made a profit. Not that we really care about making a profit because we have got so much money in the bank. Jovan Milosevic, that's his name. He has moved over to Borussia Mönchengladbach on a permanent deal for £2.6 million, possibly going a little bit higher. We were just never playing him. Literally every season we were loaning him out. He did get a few games in our first season by the looks of it, but most of them seem to be coming off the bench, so he wasn't particularly useful for us. I'm okay with a bit of cash there. And lastly, Andre Volk has moved over to Wolfsburg. He's gone for not a lot of money, £275,000. Much like the other guy, Noah Meyer, everyone wanted to sign him. And I was like, I'm not massively convinced he's going to be good. He was only 3-star potential ability, I believe. So I went, you know what, off you go, mate. We have spent £111 million, however. I might have got a bit carried away with the amount of money in our transfer budget and our bank account, so I've decided to spend a lot of it. We have brought in a lot of players as well. First of all, Yasin Khan, a Pakistani 18-year-old signed from Reading. I did bring him in because he's from Pakistan, okay? There's not a huge amount of footballers who are from Pakistan, but he does have 4.5-star potential, and I kind of want him to be world-class, okay? I'm not going to lie to you, I want him to be world-class. I don't think it's going to happen. He has come in and he has gone out on loan to Regensburg. For £3.5 million, we have signed Elias Moreira, a 19-year-old Ecuadorian international central defender, signed from Palmeiras in Brazil. He's cost a bit of money for what he is, but I'm kind of hoping a few years down the line, Moreira might be a very, very good player for us. He's 6'7". He's an absolute unit. He just can't header. Sticking with Brazil, this time Roberto is a 19-year-old Brazilian left-back, under 23 international. He's cost £6.25 million. I think he's good. I think he's actually good enough now. I was trying to buy players to basically look at players who are going to be possibly leaving in the future, but also we struggle getting defenders. Midfielders and strikers and wingers and things like that are really easy to get, but really good, cheap, I'll say cheap, really good young defenders, left-backs, right-backs, central defenders are difficult to come by. Roberto might turn into a good footballer. He might be an awful one. He does have 4.5-star potential, which kind of fills me with a little bit of hope. For £7 million, we've signed English striker Saxon Oxbro from Toulouse. Have I signed him because he's called Saxon Oxbro? Yes, I have. But also, I think there's something there. Moving up into double figures now, we have £11 million spent on Mikel Perez, an 18-year-old Spanish right-back signed from Real Sociedad, and I think he walks straight into the starting 11, which is good because I think I mentioned before that Brandon Williams is starting to get older. I might not have mentioned it, but Brandon Williams is, I think, our 4th oldest player in the squad at 26. We do need to look at replacing him within the next 4 seasons. Perez might replace him immediately. And then we move into the rounds of utterly ridiculous, and by ridiculous I mean really high transfer fees, but probably not too ridiculous. They just feel really high for me. Marcelino Varela is a 19-year-old Spanish-Portuguese defensive midfielder. I feel like I'm now just starting a war, aren't I? Signed from Gil Vicente. He has cost £34.5 million, and he walks straight into the first team, I think. I needed to spend big on somebody who is good now, basically to replace the Turkish player that we sold in the summer, and I feel like Varela does that job. And he's also not the only one that does that job. Sebastian Hughes is a 19-year-old English defensive midfielder and attacking midfielder if we need him to be, signed from West Ham, had a loan spell at Charlton, and he has cost, wait for it, £45 million. It's too much money. I'm going to be honest with you, we had money burning a hole in our pockets, and we still do. We've got £50 million worth of transfer budget to spend, and we spent £111 million of it just this transfer window alone. So the money was big. I had a lot of money to spend, and I spent it, okay? Obviously, not the only transfer business has taken place. So Fagir has gone out on loan, Slack has gone out on loan, Raul Paula has gone out on loan, Azevedo, Malic, Nicoli needs to get better. He's not awful, but he needs to go out on loan, get some more game time to go into Hertha Berlin. I think it's going to be very good for him. Gonzalez, Mullen, Kahn, and Sievers have all gone out on loan as well to Regensburg, and the Darmstadt have managed to pick up Amato, along with actually Wahid Fagir. Amato, again, much like Nicoli, needs game time. He needs to get better. I think he's going to get really good. He's just not good right now. Let's talk about Regensburg, or whatever they're called. Yes, they are a new feeder club of ours. Basically, I needed a club in Bundesliga 2 or below that we could play, basically send players to get them better. We do have VfB Stuttgart 2, who should, in theory, be able to play in an actual league, but they don't. So if we drop down to the third of Bundesliga 3, I assume, you can see Borussia Dortmund 2 and Bayern 2 are in there, and Kiel 2. So I can have to assume that we should be able to get into that league. However, because we're not in that league, we don't play any competitive fixtures, and I don't think we can control if we are going to win the league below, if that makes sense. It might be something that we need to try and do, is maybe try and get VfB Stuttgart 2 into this division somehow. I have no idea how. Anyway, the season has kicked off, and it has not started off particularly well for us. We have played 3 matches. We've got 2 defeats. Bayer, a 3-1 defeat, and FC Bayern, a 3-1 defeat. We do have 1 victory to our name against HSV, who find themselves in 16th place, a 3-2 win there. We have played arguably the 2 best, or 2 of the best sides in the league, and lost against them, but it's not a good start to the campaign. Anyway, then let's jump forward to the start of the next transfer window, where I'll probably spend another few £1,000,000, and let's see how well things have gone. Hopefully we can turn things around. Yeah, I think we've turned things around. We are sat top of the table, 13 wins, 3 defeats. So we've literally lost 1 more match against FC Köln, and then won absolutely everything else. Not massive wins there, no kind of like big 5s or 6-0s, but it looks like a few 2-0s, a few 3-1s as well, so we're scoring a lot of goals. We are top of the table. Bayern in 2nd on 38. Frankfurt in 3rd on 36. Hoffenheim in 4th. Leipzig in 5th. So it's a 5-horse race at the moment. Arguably Dortmund, Mainz and Bayer also kind of still in that fight as well. Still somewhat early doors when it comes to the actual league. Also in the Champions League, we've done really well. We've lost once up against Porto. In fact, we got smashed by Porto 6-1. But luckily for us, we beat Shakhtar, Galatasaray, PSG, RB Salzburg and Partizan. Beating PSG is huge. I'm surprised at how well we're doing in the Champions League. In fact, I'm surprised at how well we are doing. I've also just seen Man City at 28th. They beat Real Madrid. They've drawn with Dortmund and Apoel. Lost against Barcelona, Club Brugge and Leipzig. Anyway, we don't really care too much for that. We're also in the DFB Pokal quarterfinal. It's Borussia Dortmund will be our opponents. Regensburg as well, all the way into the quarterfinal up against Bayern. Speaking of Regensburg, I'm going to recall Perseevers because he's just not playing. But other than that, I think everyone else seems to be getting a lot of game time. So Kahn, he's not playing much, is he? Mullen is not really playing much. Gonzalez is not. He's in Regensburg too. He's not even in their first team. I might recall all of them. Anyway, it is a transfer window. Just taking a very quick look at the squad and sorting by age, we have nobody that we need to worry about. Although Furic is wanted by Frankfurt on loan. He's out of contract at the end of next season. We do need to sell him. He is transfer listed. If somebody bids 20 million, we will take it. Dan Axel Zagadou as well, similar situation. He's not 29 yet, so he's also got another year or 2 to go. But I've transfer listed him because I feel like we need to get rid of him sooner rather than later. It also might mean if Zagadou goes, somebody else like a Morea or an Allsop will get a lot more game time, and then in theory they might get better, because right now they're not particularly good, are they? Anyway, transfer window was open, £50 million to spend. Let's see if we're actually going to spend any more. We've got £500,000 wage budget as well. Two bits of business then have taken place leaving the club. Chris Furich has left the club on a loan spell. This isn't a permanent deal, by the way. He's gone out on loan until the end of the season with the hope that Frankfurt basically will take him. There is an option to buy him in there. So Furich might be signing for Frankfurt at the end of the season. If not, we still have another season to sell him. Yes, he is now 30, but I've said this in a few seasons now. Basically, my rule is they are 30 at the start of the season, not midway through the season, because that would just get really awkward to try and kind of manage. Dan Axel Zagadou has also left the club this time. This one was on a permanent deal. Now 28 years old, the Ivorian. No caps. Is he French, isn't he? I was going to say he's French and Ivorian. But yeah, no caps at the moment for either side. Gone for £7.5 million, which is actually more than what we actually wanted for him, I think. I'm kind of happy with it. It's annoying because he's good, but also this opens the door for some better youngsters, or some youngsters to get better, should I say, playing in the first team. Speaking of youngsters to get better playing in the first team, Lucas Inostroza is a 18-year-old Chilean goalkeeper who has signed from Huachipato, might be their name. 5 under-20s caps. He's come in for quite a sizable fee for somebody from Chile, £1.7 million. He's immediately gone out on loan to Regensburg and is playing for their first team, so that's good news. And for £6.25 million, we've brought in Mexican under-23 international from Pachuca, Rodolfo Caballero. He, I think, could be really, really good for us. He doesn't fit the natural kind of winger shape. He's not massively fast, but technically, he's an absolute wizard. He's actually really good attacking-wise, really good vision-wise as well. Maybe that would be a better position to play in the middle, but I just love the fact that we've got an 18-year-old Mexican winger, and I think he's going to be superb. And that has been all of our transfer business. So nearly £120 million has been spent this season. We brought in £61 million as well. We have been knocked off the top of the table. Bayern now sit pretty at the top of the table, but still 15 wins, 2 draws, and 3 defeats to our name. So we've actually just drawn against Bayern and HSV and then a couple more wins. So we've dropped points, but we're still up there. If we finish top 4 again, I'll be very happy with that. Speaking of finishing top 4, we actually finished 5th in the Champions League, meaning we do get ourselves through to the second knockout phase. Beating Juve as well was the extra match there. We are not obviously in this round. When we do get to the round of 16, we'll see who will be playing. I don't know whether it's seeded or anything, but it doesn't really matter. And also in the DFB Pokal, we have got past Borussia Dortmund. Regensburg did lose to Bayern Munich, so it's not going to be Regensburg versus VfB Stuttgart in the final. I kind of fancy our chances, you know. I feel like if Frankfurt and Bayern draw each other, one of those teams get knocked out, we can beat Frankfurt easily. We can beat Osnabrück easily. We can beat Nuremberg easily. Bayern's the one that we don't like. And I feel like that's a thing that lots of people who support German football teams other than Bayern Munich will probably say. So that was the transfer window. I will just take a very quick look at the squad. Obviously, no one's going to be particularly old now. Brandon Williams is now our oldest player at 27, and he is wanted. I might sell Brandon Williams to Southampton. If they come in with a bid in the summer, I might sell Brandon Williams at 27, which is ridiculous. If we sort by age, we've got some 17-year-olds getting... He's played twice off the bench. Caballero's played a few matches. Mikel Perez has played 22 at 19 years old. Even Per Sieverts has come off the bench once. He's played more for us than he did for Regensburg, which is ridiculous. I have just seen that obviously we spent £45 million on Sebastian Hughes. He's not playing every match. He's coming off the bench quite a lot, which is fine, because I think that kind of means that we've got lots of players who can play there. So Di Benedetto is obviously good. Varela obviously is good. Hughes is good. Ulrich, I think he's more of a winger, isn't he? But I'm training him up to be a defensive midfielder, so yeah, he's not played as a DM, playing on that left-hand side. So we've got 3 players who can kind of rotate in those 2 defensive midfield positions, which I'm happy with. Anyway, then, that was the transfer window. Let's jump forward to, I guess, the end of the season, where we have finished 3rd place in the table again for a 2nd season in a row. So last time around, it was 72 points, 3 points less this season. We actually had a terrible run of form towards the end of the season. 9 defeats. We had, I think it was 3, wasn't it, earlier? So 6 defeats in the second half of the season. All of them away from home. Another draw, I believe. The Mines draw is a new one, and then a bunch of victories as well. So we've done still quite good. I'm happy with what we've done. I think we're the top scoring team in the league by a reasonable distance, actually. 6 more goals over Leipzig, a lot more than 6 over Bayern, who obviously won the league. Defensively, though, we're not we're not amazing. 5th best defensively. We need to be better defensively. I think if we can shore that up, we should be good. My hope of getting some luck in the DFB Pokal almost came true, as we did make it through to the final against Bayern. However, they did manage to beat us 2-0. Musiala with the opening goal. And then midway through the second half, they double their lead, completing the victory. Elise on that right-hand side plays it on the ground. Kolo Muani is there, puts it in the bottom corner past Seaman. It is a 2-0 win for Bayern. But what does that mean for the Champions League? It means we got absolutely battered by Arsenal in the semi-final. It was a 1-1 draw after the first leg, and then as we head to the Emirates, we start by going 1-0 down. Victor Osimhen with the goal after just 8 minutes, and then most of the way through the second half, I believe, Diao collects it for us, but he's put under pressure. Bad pass. Wirtz in the middle. Osimhen can double the lead and double his tally as well. We do manage to pull one back early on in the second half, but obviously at this point it is 3-1 down on aggregate. Bays crosses the ball in. Diao was there, blasts it into the back of the net, making it 3-2 on aggregate. But then into the second half a little bit further, Havertz on the ground finds Saka, takes a few touches in the middle to Odegaard, long range effort past Seaman, makes it 4-2 on aggregate. And then it is completed after 84 minutes. Quinton Timber finds Declan Rice on the left is Smith Rowe. Acres and acres of space. Passes it past the keeper. And that is it in London. We've been knocked out of the Champions League. But the fact that we got to the semi-final was actually quite impressive. We also had Brandon Williams get himself sent off. But we were already 4-1 down at that point. So despite the fact that we don't have a trophy in the cabinet, finishing 3rd in the league, DFB Pokal final, Champions League semi-final, I think that's actually a pretty impressive season as well, considering the players that we've actually sold. We've managed to lose some really good players. I think we've replaced them quite well, particularly the Portuguese midfielder. I can never remember the guy's names. Varela, I think this is a superb signing. He's worth 87 to 125 million pounds now. I nearly didn't do this because that felt like too much money to spend. I'm so glad we did. This one I'm still kind of regretting a little bit, but he's getting there, 103 to 143 million pounds. Looking at the squad then, 5 players breaking double figures. We've got Di Benedetto, we've got Ilen Ikena, I still can't say his name, can I? Milio. We've also got Arbeloda, has managed to get 16, but top goal scorer is Asane Diao with 27 goals. We're kind of relying a lot on Diao to score the goals for us. I love it. I mean, Arbeloda should be scoring more. He's not getting the goals, is he? 10 in the league. 10 goals in the league, and that's it. Before we finish this season, I just want to point your attention to our youth intake. It has come in. We've got one elite talent, which is Nicholas Nagel, who is a striker and maybe a left winger, although he's 15 finishing and 6'3" and not particularly quick. He's not a winger. He's 100% a striker, but he's got 5-star potential. Somebody to keep an eye on, particularly as his value is 6.8 to 8.8 million pounds. That's always a good thing to know if they're going to be any good, because if their value's really high, they're probably going to be a half-decent footballer. So we've got some players here as well, like Musberger, reasonably high, £2.7 million, maybe not amazing. But yeah, you can see by a fair distance, you've got Nicholas Nagel at the top there, who is probably going to be our best player. So Season 3 in the bag, no trophies, but I'd say a pretty good improvement. In Season 4, we don't need to sell anybody, because nobody is going to be over 30. Wait, that's a lie. We will need to sell one player, but we'll also have probably £100 million worth of transfer budget to spend, and I'm probably going to spend it, aren't I? Off the back of last season, where we managed to finish 3rd place in the Bundesliga for a 2nd successive season, and we also managed to get to a Champions League semi-final, we are looking to go one better. And I think one better, probably we need to be focusing on Bundesliga, because basically we're not far away. Realistically, when you look at the points there, it is 5 points between us and Leipzig. It is 10 points between us and Bayern. We do want to win the league. That's where we want to be. We are literally the same distance, are we? So, okay, we need to get 2nd. I think 2nd should be a reasonable target. And in order for us to do that, we have currently £78 million worth of transfer budget. But I do say currently because this is a youth to gold save, where basically if you are 30 years old, you are dead to me and you must get out of my club. Which means, Chris, unfortunately, you will be leaving us at some point during the summer. Last season, you actually went out on loan to Frankfurt, and they didn't take up the option to buy you permanently, so we have to try and get rid of you. Now, you're worth £20 million. We do have some people who are interested. It is Damak from, I'm going to say Saudi Arabia. It's always Saudi Arabia. If they spend £20 million on Chris Furich, I think we've done really, really well. Another thing to mention is our squad is actually getting quite sizable. We are obviously 4 seasons in. I've done a lot of transfer business bringing youngsters to the club. If I sort by age here, we've basically brought in pretty much all of this. Maybe actually it's probably all of it's going to be there, isn't it? So all of those players have been players that effectively we have brought to the club, whether they've come through our youth intake or we've actually gone out and signed them. But we have brought in all of those players, which is 25 players. And we still have all of these players at the bottom, which is quite a few. I have sorted this by what I'm training them as, which effectively, this is how I deal with things. So I've got 4 goalkeepers, I've got 4 right backs, I've got, 3 right backs, 3 left backs, 7 central defenders. We have got, what is that at the moment, 6 defensive midfielders. We've got some wingers on either flank, 2 attacking midfielders, and then a whole bunch of strikers as well. We've got a lot of footballers in our team. I might need to have a little bit of a clear out over the summer. It's now the 2nd of September, and Chris Furich did move over to Damak in Saudi Arabia. He's gone for £14.25 million. We did actually have to pay an intermediary fee to get this deal done, because basically nobody was bidding for him. So we've moved him on. We've got 14 and a bit million for him, which is actually pretty good for a 30-year-old who basically was never going to play for us again. Another player to leave is Wahid Fagir, a player who I thought could have been actually really good for us, but he's just not developed as quickly as I had hoped. He's moved over to St. Pauli for £1 million. And Omar Beyaz has moved over to his native Turkey, signing for Trabzonspor for about 600, I think. 575, possibly going up to £725,000. And this youngster has moved over to Augsburg for literal peanuts. £130,000 worth of peanuts, apparently. That's a lot of peanuts. 3 players have joined the club. It's not a lot, but one of them I've got real high hopes for. First of all, it's Alexander Rodriguez, who I don't have massively high hopes for, an 18-year-old Ecuadorian central defender. Signed on a free transfer. He came up as a scout report saying sign him. He was free and I went, sure, we'll bring him in. 3-star potential ability. He's probably going to go out to one of our feeder clubs. We've also signed Luxembourger international Brian Dos Santos from Châteauroux. He has cost us not a lot of money, £725,000, and I have signed him pretty much because he's from Luxembourg, okay? I'm not expecting him to ever really play for us, but he's from Luxembourg and we brought him to the club. And somebody who I do expect to play for us is Soren Oliver Rent, who is an 18-year-old German central defender with under-20s caps signed from Bayer. He has come in for £12.5 million, possibly going all the way up to £15 million. It's a lot of money for a player of his quality, but we are buying the potential, not necessarily the current ability. Speaking of current ability, though, he has actually come off the bench once, so he's good enough to sort of get some game time for us. Other transfer business then, we have loaned out a whole bunch of players to our feeder clubs. So Baumgartel, Mullen, Alsop, Dietrich and Borges have all gone out on loan to Regensburg. Gonzalez, Kahn, Sievers and Oxbro have gone out on loan to Hansa Rostock. The Hansa Rostock side that are our new feeder club. We've basically got 2 now. We have Regensburg and we have Hansa Rostock. We've also loaned out Schapendonk. He has gone to Metz because basically he's not playing for us and he's too good to not play. So we've gone out, sent him off to France. Hopefully get some game time. He's already played 3 times, kept 1 clean sheet but has conceded 3. But I think all the while that Seaman is at the club, I don't think Schapendonk is ever going to get a chance. It might be that we need to sell Seaman at some point in order to try and get some of these other players to come through. And we'll get like 70, 80 million pounds for Seaman, so I'm kind of okay with that. We've also loaned out Kellen Slack, a player that came through our youth intake a few seasons ago. He's gone to Cologne. He's actually pretty good. He's played 24 times for the first team, scoring a goal in the league as well. So I quite like Kellen Slack. He might stick around. So that is our transfer business that we have done at the start of Season 4. It's not really a huge amount. Financially, we've still got basically the same transfer budget, 78, nearly £79 million. We are massively in the black when it comes to our finances, £200 million in the positive. And I can genuinely only see this going up because I don't like... there is something inside me that says don't sign players for stupid money. For example, last season when we spent £45 million on Sebastian Hughes and £34.5 million on Varela, I didn't want to do it. There was something inside me telling me not to do it, but I went for it anyway. Varela is now worth £86 to £120 million. Sebastian Hughes is worth £105 to £146 million. It was sensible business to do it, but at the time it felt wrong to do that transfer because it was just so expensive. Which is a long-winded way of me saying that we are still going to be making a lot more money. We might sell £20 million worth of players, but we'll only buy 10 million. We'll always make profit, or most seasons we'll make a profit on our transfers. Anyway, the season has kicked off already. We've played 4 matches. We are currently sat 5th place, 2 wins against Hoffenheim and Kiel, 2 defeats, however, against Bayern and Heidenheim. A Heidenheim side who, they are 2nd. How are they second? I mean, they've only played 3. How are they second? I don't know. We're also obviously in the Champions League. We're in the DFB Pokal. If you're interested, we can have a quick look at our Champions League fixtures by doing that and then doing that. So we have got Inter, PAOK, Real San Sebastian, which is Real Sociedad, Barcelona, Benfica, Nice, PSG and Real Madrid. I don't think we're getting out of the group stage. I feel like we're going to struggle in this match, this match, this match, this match and this match. And arguably that one as well. We might get one win against PAOK. Before we jump then to the next transfer window, or the winter break that we have in Germany, this is what we're locking in for the first part of the season. We're locking in Marco Nicoli, the 20-year-old German and Italian central defender / defence midfielder. I feel like he needs to get some more game time. He's got loads of potential. His worth is really, really high, and I just don't think he's getting there yet, and I think that is because over the last few seasons, he's not really played. 12 starts, 11 off the bench in his first season. 5 starts, 4 off the bench. He went on loan to Hertha in Bundesliga 2. He's coming back, and I'm going to lock him in for the season. Or for now, just the start of the season, I think. Let's not commit to locking him in for the whole season. I also couldn't speak English for a moment there. Did you notice that? I haven't actually paid attention to this, but we are expected to finish 5th place. I don't know what it's been for the last few seasons, but this season we're expected to finish 5th place, which I'm kind of okay with, as long as the board are okay with that. I'm worried that if we don't get European football, the board will be like, nope, get out of my life. We don't want you managing our club anymore, which could be a bit of a problem for a Youth to Gold save. Anyway, let's jump forward then to, I'm going to say the 1st of January, see how well the season has kicked off. The Champions League will be well underway as well. So at the halfway point then, or roughly the halfway point, we are looking okay when it comes to the league. We are down in 6th place, but we have a game in hand over some of the teams around us. In fact, both teams around us and nobody else. So we're on 16 games, 28 points. If we win a game or two, we might be in contention for 2nd or 3rd place. In the Champions League, it is going kind of just as well. I know it sort of throws you off because we can win lots of matches and still be way down the table. So we've got 3 wins, which is against Nice, Real San Sebastian and PAOK, which I kind of thought we would win those ones anyway, but we have lost against Benfica, Barcelona and Inter. So we're in with a chance. We are still in with a chance at the moment. I've just seen as well, Benfica are top. Benfica are top with 5 wins and 1 draw to their name. We've obviously got 2 more matches to play. It is PSG and Real Madrid, however. It is the transfer window, but we haven't done any business just yet. It is literally 8 a.m. the day the window opens. Nothing has been pre-arranged. I want to take another quick look at Marco Nicoli. You will know better than I will. Has he got better? There's lots of downward arrows, but I feel like he is improving. He might not be. I don't know. Please help me. Is he getting better? Is it worth keeping him in the starting 11? Time to jump to the end of January then. We have financially £78 million, so it's not really changed. We have dipped just under the £200 million mark by about £30 million, so actually quite a fair distance under the £200 million mark, but we've got loads of money to spend. We're going to jump now to the end of the transfer window, see if we can spend any of that £80 million. An interesting proposition happened over January about Marco Nicoli, and you will notice he has gone out on loan to Championship side Middlesbrough. They basically said we will take him on loan until the end of the season. I think we're paying all of his wages, which I'm okay with because we are absolutely loaded, but they're going to play him, guaranteed play him basically. I think they said important first team player. So he's gone off to England for a season, and I think that could help him massively. He's not the only young defender to go out on loan. Søren Oliver Rent has also left the club on a loan spell off to Braunschweig. Needs to get some game time, dropped down to Bundesliga 2 to get some game time, but hopefully he will get some time. He is only 19, so he's got plenty of time. I've said time about 30 times. There is another one in this little segment. But yeah, so Rent is going to go off, have some fun playing for Braunschweig. We have brought in 2 new players to the club, totaling £18.5 million, I believe. Harvey Evans is first up, a Welsh international defence midfielder signed from Reading. He has cost £8.5 million, 2 caps to his name. He's not come in to play first team football, but he's certainly good enough to do so. He's already played a couple of matches off the bench, scoring a goal as well in the DFB Pokal. And for £10 million, we have headed over to Brazil. In fact, we've gone to Corinthians to sign Milton, 19 years old, 4 under-20 caps, 3 under-20 goals. He's just a natural finisher by the looks of it. 16 finishing looks very good. He's a fast young lad as well. 16 acceleration. I'm not seeing him set the world on fire, but for £10 million, if he turns into a sort of a £20-30 million player, that's pretty good. He's coming here for a bit of squad depth, as you can tell, that he's a squad player. And that is all we have managed to do for our January transfer window. It means financially we've dropped down to £60 million, £144 million in the bank, but In the Champions League, we got very, very lucky. We lost both of the matches, 3-0 and 1-0 against Real Madrid and PSG, but we somehow managed to scrape ourselves in to the playoffs because of our goal difference being better than Club Brugge. Club Brugge lost 5 matches and they lost 7-0 against PSG, which is the one that basically knocked them out of the competition. It means we go through to the knockout phase to play Newcastle, and I feel like we're going to lose this one as well. And in the Bundesliga, we are still sat 6th place, 8 wins, 7 draws, 5 defeats to our name, 3 points behind Leipzig, 4 points behind Hertha, 5 points behind Frankfurt, and 2 far away from Borussia Dortmund and Bayern, who are going to win the league. At least one of them will. Before we jump to the end of the season, then, just want to show you here that we are not locking in any players. Obviously, Nicoli had left the club, so we are just going to have a quick look. The best 11, in theory, is this. Nicoli is in our best 11. That's a worry. We've loaned him out. It shouldn't matter. Should not really matter. If we actually change Nicoli for who should be second, Roberto or Amato. They actually say Amato should be the man, which I'm kind of okay with. Obviously, we're not locking this in. It doesn't really matter what that says. We're going to jump now to the end of the season. Can we keep our place in European football? Can we keep our job? That is a bit of a concern, actually. If we drop down to maybe 7th or 8th, we might not be in the job. In fact, it is closer between 14th and 6th than it is 6th and 2nd place. First of all, before we take a look at how the season has finished, I want to show you the youth candidates. We have got ourselves a pretty good intake. It hasn't come through as a golden generation. However, Giovanni Vessi, I think, could be very, very good for us. He's an Italian. I think he's also part German. He is part German. Left winger, maybe a striker, maybe a left back. Interesting. We could trade him up to be a left back. He does have only 3 tackling, but value 3 million to 5.8 million pounds. So it could be somebody to keep an eye out on. We've also got Kjell Altsvatar, who's a 15-year-old German right midfielder and maybe winger. He is worth 750 to 7.6 million pounds. This is kind of how I judge potential ability in some of the youngsters. If their value is high in kind of respect to other players of the same age, I think they're going to have higher potential. So Altsvatar could have a bit of interesting potential there. We have Westphal, maybe not as much, 650 for a central defender. He is only 15. Yannick Nothnagel, also 16 years old, 1.8 potential value there, so it's reasonably high. Defensive midfielder, central defender could be okay. Ross McDonald I'm interested in. He doesn't look great at the moment, but he's got the 1.4 to 2.5 million pound potential, so I'm not thinking he's going to be world class, but he could be a really good player. So we've got ourselves, I'm going to say, I think McDonald, Altsvatar and Vessi could be pretty good. We've got 3 really good players coming through there. Anyway, then in the Champions League, as you'd expect, we did get knocked out by Newcastle immediately, losing 4-1 on aggregate. We lost the first leg 3-1 and then the second leg 1-0. So, you know, we got knocked out to the eventual winners. I've just seen they did win things, so it's not that bad. In the Bundesliga, we did just about manage to qualify for Europe, and by just about, we qualified for Europe, I believe, because somebody else in Germany won possibly the Europa League or the Europa Conference League. We have qualified for the Europa League. We are 2 points behind Hertha. The last game of the season kind of screwed us because we won, or they won, sorry, and we lost, which meant they leapt over us and dropped us down into 6th place. We did make it all the way through to the DFB Pokal final, and we had to play against Bayern Munich. Williams with the ball for us after about 38 minutes, finds Diao in the middle. We take the lead in the first half. On the 64th minute, Bayern do manage to equalise in the game. Thuram intercepts from Williams, finds Kulusevski. He's going to go for a lovely run down that right-hand side. Does a lovely little spin to get past Di Benedetto. Musiala is there with a first-time effort, making it 1-1. But almost immediately from kickoff, in fact, it is somewhat immediately from kickoff, we do retake the lead. The ball goes all the way back to Varela, who's playing as a centre-back, which I find a bit strange. He goes for a little run, finds Caballero on the right-hand side, back to Perez, in the middle to Varela. He's going to go for another little run, goes all the way back. We are taking our time. This is a strange highlight. I feel like the goal should have been a lot quicker when it comes to a highlight. Roberto down to Williams on the left-hand side. Is going to cross the ball in. He tries. It's cleared. It's not cleared far. Diao on the volley, though, can blast it past Muller, making it 2-1. But just a few minutes later, in fact, probably about 1 or 2 minutes later, Bayern once again equalise. Down the left-hand side is Kvaradona. I can never say his proper name. Finds Harry Kane. Seaman can't stop that one. It is 2-2, and that takes us all the way in to extra time, where we have ourselves a corner, which comes in, finds Amato at the back post. We make it 3-2, and we are not done there. on the 103rd minute. Ulrich finds Ilakenia, still no idea if that's how his name is said, just walks straight towards the goalkeeper, dinks it over him, making it 4-2. The match wasn't quite finished yet. Bayern did try and get themselves back into the game, but it was too little too late because we had already played 121 minutes by the time Kolo Muani managed to put that ball in the back of the net, and we win the DFB Pokal 4-3 after extra time against Bayern Munich. So after the disappointment of last season getting to the final but not actually winning it, we do pick up the trophy, the first time since 1996-1997 season, which was a very, very long time ago. Before we drop off then for this season, I do want to take a quick look at the players, and obviously I want to have a look here at some of the loan players to see if they've actually managed to do anything kind of exciting, because some players seem to have gone out on loan. In fact, a lot of the players going out on loan to our feeder clubs haven't really played. Oxboro's got 11, but that's about it. Alsop, Borges and Mullen have played a lot of games for Regensburg. Schappendonk playing for Metz. He's improved, hasn't he? He's improved somewhat significantly. That's kind of a concern. It's not a concern, it's a good thing, but it means he's going to want more football. Kellen Slack looks like he's getting better as well. Rent, he's on the mend. He's getting better. I like that. We've got Nicoli, obviously went out on loan in the second half of the season. Doesn't seem to have changed too much. 14 games in the Championship. Hasn't really improved, has he? When it comes to players in our squad, we've got 3 players with double figures for goals. Caballero is one of them, breaking 10 goals in all competitions, also getting 8 assists. Caballero's good. He's only 20. He is 20 years old. He's already worth 44 to 51 million pounds. We only spent 6.25 million pounds on him. We've also got Elkin Arbeloda, who was our Colombian striker, who spent a season out on loan at Heidenheim, but formerly of America de Cali, now 21 years of age. 18 caps and 7 goals for Colombia, 15 goals for us this season. I would have liked more. He played 40 games, only scored 15, an XG of 10.8, so he's actually outscored his XG. He should be scoring more than that. But we did kind of get lucky, because Asani Diao, at 23 years of age, playing on that left wing as well, by the way, scored 23 goals in all competitions, 11 assists as well, massively outperforming his XG, massively outperforming his XA as well, by the looks of it. Diao's been a pretty good signing, considering I say this earlier in the season, spending a lot of money feels weird to me. It feels uncomfortable. To spend £30 million on Diao, I didn't like doing it. Kind of glad that we did. So Season 4 is in the bag. It's not as successful as Season 3, but we do have a trophy to show for it. Next season then, we'll be back in the Bundesliga, obviously the DFB Pokal, obviously, but also the Europa League. Maybe we could win the Europa League. For Season 3, I want to win the treble. Yes, I am including the German Super Cup as part of that treble. I'm also including the DFB Pokal and the Europa League, because I think Bundesliga is probably a little bit too far out of reach at the moment. We could try and get it a little bit closer by spending some of this £95 million that we have to spend, but I don't think we are in the position to really start throwing money around just yet. Because this is a Youth to Gold save, we can only sign players who are 19 years of age or less, which means we probably can't buy somebody who's going to walk straight into our first team. Or if we can, they're going to be very expensive. Also, because it is Youth to Gold save, we do need to sell anybody who is over the age of 30. Luckily for us, nobody's over the age of 30. Brandon Williams will be turning 29 by the end or just after the transfer window shuts, which means we will have technically another whole season of Brandon Williams if we want to keep him. I don't know whether we're going to. I might look to sell Brandon Williams on sooner rather than later, whilst he's still got a bit of value. It's not a lot of value, is it? It's only £10 million. Well, without further ado then, let's jump forward to the end of the first transfer window, and we will see whether we have the first trophy in the bag, the German Super Cup. No, we haven't. I'm not going to bother showing you the match because we lost 3-1. But yeah, we haven't won the German Super Cup, so maybe we might just win the double this year. Anyway, the transfer window has closed and no players have left on permanent deals. We have loaned out some players, in fact quite a lot of players. 2 of them worth mentioning. Kellen Slack is one of them. He's moved over to HSV until the end of the season. They are paying a few £1 million for his services as well, which is quite handy. Also, Barcelona have loaned Yannick Schappendonk. He played 31 times last season for Metz, conceding 38. They've loaned him in as a backup option. I'm hoping he's not a backup. I'm hoping they get him there and realise he's a really good goalkeeper and they're just going to play him. However, if we take a look at their squad and sort by goalkeepers, they do still have ter Stegen. He's very good, but he is 37. Maybe ter Stegen might be on his way out. They've also got this man here who's rubbish. So He's going to be on the bench at the very least. Two players have joined the club. Cesar Moreno, first up, is an Ecuadorian left-back signed from Liga de Quito and has immediately gone out on loan to Regensburg. He has not cost a lot of money at all. He's cost just under £1 million at 900,000. The other player, however, has cost a lot of money, and I'm not sure I can justify this. I don't want to tell you how much yet, okay? But Russell Hammett has joined the club from West Ham. He spent the season out on loan at Sheffield Wednesday last year, played 45 times, scoring a couple of goals. He's 19 years old. He is English, and he has cost us £91 million. Yep, I can't believe I've done it, okay? I can't believe I've done it, but my scout said he's going to be amazing, and I looked at his attributes and went, he does look pretty good already. First touch, passing, technique, all looks pretty good. He's obviously going to be that attacking midfielder role, which this is what we need him to do, which he's got some good numbers in good places, lacking flair, lacking finishing, but he's still only a little baby boy at 19 years old. He could still improve. And for the love of God, for £90 million, I hope he does improve. There you can see the number, by the way. It wasn't me just making it up. 80 million up front, plus another 11 million. It's a lot of money. Other things to mention, players going out on loan. So Amato off to Watford, Sivert to Victoria Köln. We've got Nicoli going back over to England, but this time going to Luton. Oxbro's gone to Hansa Rostock. Malic to Regensburg. Mikel Gonzalez to Concarneau over in France. Alexander Rodriguez has also gone to Rostock, so has Khan, Allsop and Brian Dos Santos. Moreno and Kesmenli have gone on loan to Regensburg. Basically, we're trying to use our feeder clubs to make them into a reasonable side. Speaking of our feeder clubs, actually, I say feeder clubs, we're not talking about our feeder clubs. We're talking about the Bundesliga 2, or technically Bundesliga 3, actually. I don't think, let me say that again. I think we can get VfB Stuttgart 2 into this league. The problem is, this is the lowest league that we have loaded. You can't load any more on the base game, and I haven't loaded any more on the base game. Maybe we need to start throwing players into VfB Stuttgart 2, and by throwing players, I mean good players like Ilikena, we've got Inestrosa, we've got Milton, we've got Morea, we've got some reasonable players playing here now. Maybe this is how we get them promoted and get them into actually a proper league. Because that could help us, because that's effectively another free loan team, isn't it? Anyway, back to the results. We have also kicked off the Bundesliga. We've played thrice. We have beaten Leipzig. We have drawn with Heidenheim, and we have lost against Bayern. We've won 3-0, lost 3-0, and drawn 1-1. It's not the most exciting start of the season, is it? But we have spent £91 million on a 19-year-old. It hasn't really affected our transfer budget, because I'll be honest with you, 60-odd million pounds of it we're not actually paying yet. We're going to pay for that over the next few seasons, which will hopefully prove that he's definitely worth the money. And in order to prove that, we are locking him in as that attacking midfielder. It does mean that Milio, who normally plays there, isn't going to be playing there anymore. It is going to be Hammond playing as that attacking midfielder, but I feel like for that money, we have to make him good, and we have to make him good quick, and this is the best way to do it. Anyway, then let's jump forward to the 1st of January, see how well the season kicks off. We're obviously in the Champions League. I'm hoping we can do a bit better than last season, where we just about scraped through into the playoffs. We've got the DFB Pokal, but I don't think we're going to be seeing a huge amount of that right away. I do still want to win the double. DFB Pokal, Europa League. And on the 1st of January, that is still a distinct possibility. We're in the DFB Pokal quarterfinal. Schalke are our opponents. In the Europa League, we are 3rd place in the table, only stopped by the two Liverpudlian sides of Liverpool and Everton, who have won 6 out of 6. We have lost once against Everton, but we have won against Utrecht, Lazio, Malmo, Rangers and Rapid. Very comfortable wins there as well. Positive 21 goal difference, the best in the competition by a fair distance. 17 positive for Liverpool, but they have also won all 6. We've got positive 21 and we've lost a match. The problem is, however, in the Bundesliga, we are currently sat 8th place in the table, which I don't think the board are too impressed with. We need to turn that around, or we need to win the Europa League, okay? If we finish in 8th, I feel like we might be getting sacked. And right now, the board is on a C, so it's not too bad. The supporters are on a C as well, but I'm worried that they're going to turn around and go, no, it is unacceptable, and we should actually be winning the competitions. We should be finishing in 2nd or 3rd place in the table. But right now, they're okay. Maybe as January goes on, they might start to be a bit more concerned. Speaking of January, we've done no transfer business as of yet. We do have £65 million to spend, but I don't know whether we're going to, because we did spend £91 million on Hammond. Hammond, by the way, who's currently out injured for 5 weeks to 2 months. I don't know how much he really missed He's so far missed 5 weeks. He's missed a lot of football already. He doesn't ever seem to finish a match either. Gets about 60 odd minutes in and then he gets subbed off. Is he improving? I don't think he really is at the moment. He's got some Europa League goals, not a single goal in the Bundesliga. He might be one of the reasons why we're down in 8th place in the table. Right then, let's jump to the end of the transfer window, see if we can buy another player for £90 million. First of all then, on the 1st of February, let's talk about the players who have gone out on loan. Nobody is left on a permanent deal, but Brian Dos Santos has moved over to FC Rouen on a loan spell. Getting VfB Stuttgart into an actual league, or VfB Stuttgart 2 into an actual league, I don't think it's going to work, because basically we are playing matches. Apparently he's played 13 times this season. He's not scored a single goal in that. I feel like he should be scoring some goals. I don't think our reserve team or VfB Stuttgart 2 side is a good side. I think they're actually quite garbage for the most part, so I've just gone, let's loan them out. So Brian Dos Santos has moved over to FC Rouen. Milton has moved over to Blackburn, because why not? The Brazilian, who can't speak a word of English, I assume, has moved over to Blackburn. He's gone there for the rest of the season. It'd be good to get some game time for him. And Yannick Chappendonk has returned from his loan spell at Barcelona, because he played once, conceded once, and then never played again. I've recalled him and sent him out on loan to RC Lens, where hopefully he will get some game time there. He's also in the Dutch squad. He's playing at World Cup qualifiers, scoring, playing 3 World Cup qualifiers, conceding a couple, also playing a couple of European International League games by the looks of it as well. Joining the club, we've signed Luis Osorio. He's kind of replaced Milton, a player that we didn't need to replace because he's still at the club, but he's just gone out on loan. The Chilean striker has cost us just £3.2 million. Don't worry, it's not absolutely ridiculous. He's come off the bench a couple of times, so he's good enough, but he is very, very similar. In fact, we can probably do this comparison. He's very similar to Milton in terms of attributes. He's maybe a little bit better, but not really a lot. He's got a good free kick on him, apparently. But that is it for our transfer business. Nothing else of real excitement has taken place. So financially, we're still in a good way. £120 million in the bank, £60 million transfer budget to spend. When it comes to competitions, we are still in the DFB Pokal. We have finished 2nd place in the Europa League because we managed to beat Olympiacos and Basel, I believe. 7-0 victory there against Olympiacos. So we move into 2nd place on goal difference. Everton losing a match against Club Bruges, of all teams, who finished down in 14th place. So we go straight through to the round of 16, I believe. And in the Bundesliga, we are still in 8th place. We are 3 points behind the 6th place, which is European qualification. 4 points behind 5th. A long, long way behind 4th. We are losing touch with the top 4, and that's not a good thing when we're trying to make this squad a good team. I've made the executive decision as well, by the way, to remove Hammond from that position. He wasn't playing anyway for the last few matches because he was injured, but I feel like it's a bit too early. We might have wasted £90 million. So then as we move to the end of the season, we have managed to climb up to 5th place in the table, and we're actually very, very close to 4th place, so we must have done really, really well the last few matches. I can't remember who it was, but somebody must have just absolutely fallen like a stone. Somebody was 4th, a long, long way away from us. And then maybe Bayer, I think they just got lucky with their fixtures. Because they must have just lost a whole load of games. They did, so they lost 1, 2, 3, 4 matches. Still picking up some wins, but still not quite good enough for us to catch them. We weren't even far off. It was 1 point. We could have finished in 4th place. Could have qualified for the Champions League. Speaking of qualifying for the Champions League, we made it all the way to the final of the Europa League up against Everton. Williams with the ball in the middle finds the Mexican Caballero. We take the lead after 26 minutes. However, just before half-time, Everton managed to pull one back. Branthwaite forward finds McNeil, crosses the ball in. Barcola heads down to Ekatike with a wonderful finish past Seaman, making it 1-1. And on the 80th minute, Everton take the lead. Neto gets past his man, plays it in the middle, finds Ekatike. It's saved, but Barcola is there to mop up the pieces. And that is how the Europa League final finishes. We lose 2-1 after taking the lead as well. They got very lucky because basically the XG it doesn't really tell the true story because they basically had 2 really, really easy chances to score goals for the Barcola effort, which has kind of skyrocketed their XG, which arguably it shouldn't be skyrocketed that much. We were okay. We got to the final, which I'm happy with. We did have some really bad performances. Osorio and Ulrich in particular. Di Benedetto as well, 6.5. Hughes on a 6.6. Ogbamudia on a 6.5. We didn't do so well, did we? We also had some really awful players on the subs bench for some reason. Like, he was on the subs bench, and I don't know why. We've also got Jankowski, 21-year-old German right winger. I mean, he's not awful, is he? But I wouldn't say that he should be playing for us. Shouldn't be on the subs bench anyway. And in the DFB Pokal up against RB Leipzig, we go 1-0 down after 37 minutes. Simakan blasts it past Seaman. Into the second half we go, and Leipzig once again coming forward with the ball on that left-hand side. Can they cross the ball in? They can. It is Openda there at the front post making it 2-0. However, we pull one back through Borges from the penalty spot, but it was not enough in the 93rd minute. Leipzig with the ball, crosses it in eventually. Is Openda, plays it on the ground, in fact, finds that man's name. Samoes blasts it into the back of the net, making it 3-1. The match was not over though. We did manage to get ourselves a second goal of the game in the 97th minute. Williams with the ball, crosses it in to Milio, puts it into the bottom corner. It is 3-2 defeat against RB Leipzig. And also, that was the semi-final, okay? It wasn't the final. We didn't get to the final. We lost in the semis. And Leipzig won the final against Mainz, okay? I mean, I was trying to tease you. Maybe we could have won the DFB Pokal. No, we got knocked out the round before the final. So I don't think this is a particularly good season, despite the fact that we've got 2 runners-up trophies. We have qualified for the Europa League. We got knocked out of the DFB Pokal in the semi-final. It means for season 6, we are going to be in the Europa League again. I feel like we can win it. I genuinely feel like we can win it. We're not going to be in the German Super Cup because we won nothing last year. Maybe next season could be an interesting one because we are going to have less distractions. The German Super Cup's 1 game, Stuart. What are you talking about? Before we finish then, we always take a look at players who have scored 10 or more goals. Caballero is the first of those players. 11 goals, 8 assists from that right wing. He's still good, isn't he? He's getting better. Lauren Ulrich is next up with 17 assists and 15 goals. That's ridiculous. Where's he been playing? I imagine left wing and attacking midfield. So he's kind of been a bit versatile by the looks of it. Somebody else who has probably been a bit versatile is Enzo Milio with 16 goals, 13 assists for Milio, the 27-year-old Frenchman. Mainly playing as that attacking midfielder, but did play on the wing for some reason against Wolfsburg. In fact, only playing as an attacking midfielder and once on the wing. Asani Diao once again with another spectacular season of goal scoring with 11 assists, 17 goals, 10 of them coming in the league, 6 of them in the Europa League. Playing on that left-hand side, I guess, maybe as a striker. A couple of times on the right by the looks of it. So he's basically played as a winger. In fact, never played as a striker. Fair enough. And that's because our top goal scorer this season is Elkin Arbeloda, the Colombian international. 22 caps now to his name and 24 goals in all competitions, 14 of them in the league. Much, much better than what he did last season where he only got 10 league goals, 15 in all competitions. So 9 whole goals more in just 2 extra appearances. I do want to just take a look at Arthur Herman, a real player, by the way. This is not somebody who's a new gen. This is somebody who I found and went, he actually looks pretty good. Signed him from Dynamo Dresden for peanuts, £350,000. This season, in fact, the last few seasons, he's played a lot of matches for us. But this season, he's got 13 assists and 4 goals from left back. And he's not even that good, really, is he? He's just fast. Let's take a brief look then as well before we finish the season at the lone players. Has anyone done any good? So I want to take a look at, where is he? I've lost his name, Schapendonk. 13 times for Lens this season. It's not enough, is it? I mean, I know he obviously started the season at Barcelona, but Lens should have played a little bit more. Kept 5 clean sheets though and 8 starts. How did Milton enjoy his time up in Lancashire in England playing for Blackburn? Just the 4 goals in 16 starts in the Championship. But he's improving. His arrows are going up. Not necessarily sure whether his numbers are going up. We've got John Mullen, went to Borussia Mönchengladbach, didn't really play too much, a lot of matches coming off the bench there. Slack at HSV, 28 starts, just the 3 goals. Where were you playing? Surely you couldn't be playing as a striker for that. We've also got Nicoli at Luton in the Championship, played a lot of football. Is he getting better? Maybe. I feel like what's letting him down is his low determination. Determination of 9 could be a problem there. And also over in England in the Championship is Ezequiel Amato, the Argentine under-20 international, 42 appearances playing for Watford. He's good, but he's also not. There's just something about him that makes him not good, and I can't pinpoint what it is. I'm wondering whether it's something like his passing's not very good, maybe his marking at 13 isn't high enough, maybe his mental numbers are just a little bit on the low side. But there's just something about him that isn't good, and I don't know what it is. So, Season 5 in the bag. Russell Hammond is our new record signing, and he hasn't been very good, has he? We dropped him for the second half of the season, and he didn't really even get the chance. In fact, he didn't come off the bench for a large portion of the latter part of the season. It might have been £91 million wasted. Only time will tell. It's Season 6 of our Youth to Gold save with VfB Stuttgart in the Bundesliga. Last time around, we managed to finish just 5th place in the table. We should realistically be qualifying for the Champions League. We were very, very close. In fact, we were literally just 1 point off of finish in 4th place. If we finished in 4th place, we would have qualified for the Champions League. I believe qualifying round, maybe going straight into the group stage. I'm not quite sure. Now, I haven't actually looked at this, but when it comes to the season preview, we are expected to finish 5th place, which is where we obviously finished last season as well. I would like to do one better. We don't have anybody, I don't believe we have anybody in the Media Dream 11, which is not ideal. Who are our best 2 players currently? Let's have a look. We are going to be down there. We have Enzo Milio, which is a surprise to nobody because he's obviously very good at football. And we have Dennis Seaman, who is obviously very good at football as well. However, he is wanted. Barcelona and Real Madrid. Do we pull the trigger and sell Seaman? It might be a thing we do, you know. Obviously, with this being a Youth to Gold save, the main things that we really need to be trying to do is sell anybody who is over the age of 30 because they are dead to me, and bring in anybody who is under the age of 20. So teenagers only are allowed to join this club. That sounds weird out of context. The transfer window has opened and we have already done a bit of business. In fact, this business happened about 10 or so days ago, 20 days ago maybe. Arthur Herman has moved over to FC Nantes over in France. He's gone for a whopping £28.5 million. Considering we bought him in Season 1, in our Season 1 that is, for 350, that is a huge, huge profit on a player who, realistically, he's not amazing. He's just pretty quick, isn't he? That's all he's got. For this transfer window, we do have £115 million to spend. We've got a whopping £300 or so thousand worth of wage budget. Let's take a quick look at the squad. Sort by age. Have we got any old people? We've got Brandon Williams. Brandon Williams might need to leave this window. Technically, we don't need to sell him this window, but if we get the opportunity and a decent offer comes in, we might end up selling Williams. Along with the Bundesliga, we are obviously in the DFB Pokal and we are in the Europa League. A Europa League that I feel like we could win. We got to the final last season, losing out to Everton in a 2-1 defeat, but I feel like we should be able to win this. Maybe we can do well in the Champions League, finish top 4, and maybe we can win the Europa League. Without further ado then, let's jump forward to the end of the initial transfer window. Hopefully Brandon Williams will be sold, because I feel like selling him once he is 30 might be a little bit harder. And obviously, we are going to do some transfer business. It's now the 4th of September and 3 players have left the club on permanent deals. 2 of them are big name players as well. Yuli Shimanga Ngonga is a player who actually came through our youth intake, technically before we joined the club in the first season of the save. He's moved over to Bayer. Didn't want to do this, but he had a minimum fee release of £7.25 million, which has obviously been triggered, and he has moved over. Another player to leave is Friedrich Donholz, who came through our youth intake in the 27-28 season, and he's gone over to Mainz for not a lot of money, £600,000, possibly going up a little bit higher. And finally, we have sold Dennis Seaman. He has moved to Real Madrid for a lot of money, £69 million, possibly going all the way up to £88 million, which kind of offsets the possible catastrophe that was Russell Hammond last season, which cost £91 million. 6 players have joined the club, and we're going to go for them in ascending order of cost. Jonah Schwartz is first up, 19-year-old German left-back and left midfielder signed from Dusseldorf. He's cost £200,000. He's most certainly one for the future. He has been brought in as a future prospect, but he's most likely kind of going to be a bit of a squad player, filling out the subs bench. Next up, moving up to £2.5 million, is Colombian youngster Javier Palomino, who is 18 years old, signed from Atletico Nacional. He's a central midfielder, so we do need to retrain him to be either an attacking or defensive midfielder. I think I might go for defensive. I don't really know why. He's got better. I'm not sure. We'll have to work out what Palomino is going to be. Obviously, not going to be playing much anytime soon, but he's worth £31 to £39 million, which is a lot of money. Speaking of a lot of money, Patrick Kadlec has signed from Sparta Prague. Is he the Dennis Seaman replacement? Maybe. Or is Schapendonk the Dennis Seaman replacement? Kadlec has come in as a star player. I don't believe it, okay? I just offer people what they want and then change my mind once they've arrived. Coming in from Spartak Prague, he's cost £7.25 million, which is actually relatively cheap for a player of this quality. He is described as a wonderkid. Next up is Edgar Ortiz, a 20-year-old Mexican with one cap to his name. When we signed him, he wasn't 20. I don't think he was 20. We will double check that. but I'm almost certain he was 19 when we signed him, and then he turned 20 within a few days of us actually signing him. He has come in from Chivas, costing £8.75 million. Next up is one for the future, but one who is very expensive. Our board want us to sign German footballers, and they want us to sign players from other teams in the Bundesliga, which is a weird thing for them to want to do, but it's apparently a thing that they're after. Is Mario Mucker, 18 years of age, under 20 international striker, and he's cost us £12.5 million, possibly going up a little bit more as well. It's a lot of money, but we have a lot of money, so I've decided to start throwing it around. Last season, we obviously bought one big name player. This season, we bought a whole load of smaller name players, but still quite expensive. And the most expensive player to join our club is Dominic Evans. The 19-year-old Welsh international has signed from Manchester City. He's got 7 caps to his name. He has cost us £18.5 million, which I don't think is actually terrible. He's got 4.5-star potential, 2-star current ability, which is obviously not amazing, but I think we need to maybe force play Evans to get some game time behind him. I think he's going to be good. It was too much money, but like I said earlier, we do have money to just throw around anyway. We've also got a whole load of players leaving on loan deals. Kellen Slack is one of them, moving over to Sheffield United on loan. Hopefully get some game time there. We've got Saxon Oxborough going to Wrexham, who are in League 1 in this save. Hopefully, again, get some game time there. Nicoli heading back over to Middlesbrough for another season. We need to get that determination up, really, don't we? But he is playing in the... I was going to say in England? It is in England. I only said Europe for some reason. It's technically Europe, but so is Germany. John Mullen has also moved over to England, moving to Bournemouth, who are currently in the Championship. We've got Yasir Khan has gone over to Magdeburg. We've got Ilakana has moved over to Luton, once again in the Championship. He was not getting game time. I have transfer listed him. Nobody really wanted him. He just hasn't really been playing a lot of these matches, coming off the bench. Particularly the last season, he only played 9 and 7 of them off the bench. So we need to really move him on because I don't think he's ever going to get much game time for us. Nick Ack and Mikel Gonzalez have both gone on loan to Regensburg, and Cesar Moreno has gone on loan to SV Wehen Wiesbaden. Maybe. Probably isn't their name at all, is it? And I just want to confirm, Edgar Ortiz, 14th of the 7th, is when we signed him. He turned 20 on the 28th of the 7th, so we bought him 2 weeks before he turned 20. It's fine, we didn't break any rules. Now, from a tactics perspective, I think we're going to have to try and do this again because I'm determined not to be embarrassed by £91 million man Russell Hammonds. He needs to get better at football. He played 13 times in total for us last season, or 13 league games actually. I think he's played a little bit more than that. 14 in all competitions, and he's played 4 so far in all competitions. I think he's going to get good. He is improving. He's certainly improving, maybe not as quick as we like him to do, but we're going to have to force play him for a season. He's got the right numbers. As an attack midfielder on attack, his first touch, his passing, his technique, decisions are good. His vision's pretty good. Off the ball's pretty good. He's got some good numbers. He's also got 7 flair and 9 finishing and 12 dribbling. Could be a bit of an issue there. One thing you will have noticed is we haven't locked in a goalkeeper, and that's because I'm going to leave this up to my assistant manager. Who should be our number 1? We've got technically 4 options. We've got Robin Dietrich. It's not you, buddy. Sorry, it's definitely not going to be you. We've also got, I'm going to go in order of what I think they'll pick, Lucas Inostroza, who I believe will be our 3rd choice goalkeeper for the season. He's 21 now, 4 caps for Chile. We've then got Kadlec, who we have just seen as our new signing. I don't think he's going to be our number 1. He's good. He's very good, but is he as good as Schaffendonk? Schaffendonk played 11 times last season for RC Lens. Already, Schaffendonk has played 3 matches. He has conceded twice in those 3 games. He's played once as well in the DFB Pokal, so I feel like Schaffendonk will be our number 1 for the season, but I don't think Kadlec is too far behind him. Oh, and you'll notice Brendan Williams is still at the club. Yes, he is now 30, which means we do need to sell him next season. Nobody wanted him. There was a bit of interest, but basically nobody took him at all. I mean, he's £34 million might be part of the problem here. Anyway, we have obviously kicked off the season. We've played 3 league games, winning against Mainz and Borussia Mönchengladbach, drawing with RB Leipzig, which is actually a very, very good draw. But we are not currently top of the table because we have drawn one of those matches in the Europa League. Can we see our fixtures? Is there an easy way to do it? I hate doing this because it kind of jumps all over the place. We have to do that, and then we go Europa League. So who have we got? We've got Spurs, Rangers, Total Network Solutions. It's not what they're called anymore. It's the new Saints. We've got Hapoel Beersheva, we've got Galatasaray, Slavia Prague, Levski Sofia, and Anderlecht. I think we should be fine. I think we should be getting out of this group. No problems finishing in the top 8, hopefully. Anyway, that's going to do it then for this part. Let's jump forward to the start of the January transfer window. We'll be halfway through the season, see how well things have gone. And obviously, we'll have another transfer window to worry about. And we've still got 130 million to spend. I think it's gone up, hasn't it? It's gone up in money. Well, it is now the 1st of January. We are almost at the midway point. Technically, we've got one more game to play before we hit that midway point, but we find ourselves in 6th place in the table. 7 wins. Pretty good wins in terms of scoring goals. We did also beat Borussia Dortmund, the defending champions, 3-1, but 8 draws is a lot of draws. Good draws, if you ask me. Some of them, obviously, drawing with Bayern, drawing with Leipzig are good draws, but some of the draws, the Hoffenheim draw, arguably, we shouldn't be drawing that one. Köln, we shouldn't be drawing that one. Wolfsburg, we shouldn't be drawing that one. And then one defeat as well against Eintracht Frankfurt, who find themselves in 7th place. If we could just turn some of those draws into wins, we would be in a very good place. Speaking of turning some of those draws into wins, we'd be in a good place. The Europa League, we are currently 10th place. We do have 3 wins, beating Slavia Prague, Hapoel Beersheva and the New Saint, but we have 2 draws against Rangers and Tottenham, and then 1 defeat against Galatasaray. If we just managed to turn one of those draws into a victory, we'd be on, what is that? It would be 13 points, wouldn't it? So we'd be way up here, 4th or 5th place in the table, along with Brentford. But no, unfortunately, we've drawn a couple of matches, and we might be on the verge of not going out of the Europa League, obviously, but not making it through straight into the second knockout round, or the round of 16, or whatever it is. I don't know. No idea what it's called. I am a bit concerned that the board might start getting on our back. They're currently fine. They're currently okay. We've got a C, but they do want us, first of all, to increase our commercial revenue. I don't really know how I do that. They want us to sign players to sell for a profit. I mean, I will be doing that. They also want us to spend the original transfer budget. It's £120 million, guys. If I'm doing it, I'm buying another Russell Hammond, and you're not going to be happy with it. But I feel like they want us to reach that stage of the DFB Pokal. We failed because we've been knocked out against Dortmund in the second round, which is not really fair. They want us to qualify for the Champions League. We are struggling in the league at the moment, but we're doing okay in the Europa League. I'm worried that if we don't finish in the top 4, we might get sacked. Anyway, it is a transfer window, obviously. We have plenty of money to spend. I will be trying to look at selling if we sort by age once again. We have a 30-year-old Brandon Williams. He is transfer listed. His value has declined slightly to now 26 million, but we've got Palace wanting to sign him on a permanent deal. Same with Al Ain. We've also got some loan spells as well, which hopefully we can kind of deal with them, maybe get them in a mandatory future fee. So Brandon Williams will likely be leaving, which is kind of silly because he is one of our best performers in the league. Speaking of best performers in the league, in the Europa League, Russell Hammond has got 3 goals and 3 assists in 6 matches. So I think he's starting to get good. He's starting to get a bit of confidence behind him. Some of these numbers seem like they're going up. Maybe not necessarily the numbers themselves, but there are upwards arrows. Flair's gone up from 7 to 8. We've seen an improvement in Russell. Anyway, like I said, January the 1st is here. Transfer window is open. £130 million to spend. Let's see if we can actually spend any of it to begin with. Well, first of all, players leaving the club then. Brandon Williams has left on a loan spell to Crystal Palace. There is not an obligation to buy, and I don't even think there is an option to buy. I kind of want them to just buy him anyway. He is still transfer listed, and I didn't need to do this, basically, is what I'm trying to say, but I wanted to do it because I thought, you know what, he's not going to be playing for us next season. What's the point in playing somebody who isn't going to be here next season when we can start to try and develop a youngster? The thing is, we didn't buy any, so we have to deal with what we've got at the club. Our transfer window has been non-existent, effectively. We did no business joining the club, leaving the club. We have got a few other players. We've got Michael Orlov, who is an 18-year-old German central midfielder, moving over to Werder Bremen. We've also got a Bodji, who's gone over to Hertha. He is a 17-year-old left winger, but that's pretty much it. We've got loan spells of players going off to our feeder clubs like Giovanni Vessi, who's good. He's good. He's got a nice high value, which says to me he's going to get better in the future. Mario Mucker off to Hansa Rostock, needs to get some game time. Hopefully he's going to do that there. Milton joining him over at Hansa Rostock, needs to get some game time. He's already scored twice in 3 appearances. We've got Kadlec. He's gone over to RC Lens last season. It was Schapendonk this time. Kadlec's gone there because he was getting annoyed. He obviously wasn't playing because of Schapendonk. Brian, the Luxembourger international, he's gone out on loan to Amiens. And then we've got Kesmenlini, or whatever his name is. It's Kesmenli, sure. He's gone to Regensburg. Last time they played twice, this time hasn't kicked a ball yet. Rodriguez also gone to Regensburg, again has not kicked a ball. And Maria has gone to Hansa Rostock, and he hasn't kicked a ball. Whilst we have these feeder clubs, both of them in Bundesliga 2, I believe, we never seem to play any of our players. Like they quite happily take them. So Hansa Rostock, if you have a look at their squad, they've got Morea, they've got Milton, they've got Mucker. Mucker's come off the bench twice. Milton's the only one who's actually getting some game time there. And I feel like Regensburg is even worse. So they got Mikel Gonzalez, who's played twice. He's been there since the start of the season. We got Rodriguez, not kicked a ball. Casamenli, not kicked a ball. Vessi has played once and then one off the bench. So they're not really playing our players. This is the one, I want him to get better. He's got 4-star potential, but he never plays wherever he goes. He played 13 matches at Concarneau, and that was about it. Anyway, other things that are going on. We've played 4 more matches, I believe, since we were last here, and things are starting to get a little bit worse. We've picked up another couple of points from draws. We have 10 draws now in all competitions. We've not lost to Leipzig. The problem is we also haven't beaten Leipzig. We've drawn with Bayern. We've lost only one more match, Mainz and Frankfurt, which are not matches we should be losing. Frankfurt now up into 5th. We have also won 8 matches, including a 6-1 against Borussia Mönchengladbach, but we are falling away. We are 6 points behind a Champions League spot. And the board are kind of okay. I mean, they're not. They're still disappointed because we're not on course to qualify for the Champions League, and it's required. The supporters, they're kind of okay. They want us to qualify for the Champions League as well. But maybe the Europa League is going to save us. Because we have qualified for the round of 16, I believe it is, with 5 wins, beating Anderlecht Levski, Slavia Prague, Hapoel Beersheva, and Total Network Solutions. I'm going to call them that every time. The draws against Rangers and Spurs, we know, and the defeat against Galatasaray. So we finished in 7th place, which actually isn't terrible. We'll obviously be playing one of these 12 teams here, 8 teams, 16 teams. That's how numbers work. But obviously we don't know who that's going to be yet. So all in all, at this point of the season, it's not going particularly well. And I'm genuinely fearing for my job. If this is how the league season ends, the table finishes like this, we could be in a sticky situation. We are in a bit of a sticky situation because, yes, we have finished 6th place in the table. 13 draws is too many draws. We've got, again, good draws in there, but it's far too many draws. Only 5 defeats, which is actually joint best with Bayern. However, the Europa League may have just saved our bacon, because we made it all the way through to the final. Tottenham Hotspur were our opponents, obviously, of the Premier League. First cross comes in, finds Diao at the back post. We take the lead after just half an hour. And then 4 minutes later on the clock, Diao collects it on the left-hand side. Hughes finds Varela into the penalty area, takes a couple of touches, and the Portuguese international tucks the ball away for our second of the game. And that is all we needed to win the Europa League. We've actually managed to win a trophy. The amount of times I've done a save or a season or a series or whatever on Football Manager, and we've never really won anything, I feel like this is an achievement in itself. We do still want to win the Bundesliga, but the fact that we've won the Europa League, I'm happy with that. Doing a youth to gold save, we've won the Europa League with Stuttgart. And we still have 4 more seasons to play, season 7, 8, 9 and 10. There is still obviously a very big chance that we could win the Bundesliga. I also don't know if we qualify for this. I feel like we do. I feel like we qualify for this. So, I mean, can we work this out? It doesn't really tell us, does it? But, I mean, we've got Barcelona. There's basically what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of European teams. So Barcelona, we've got Marseille, we've got Roma, AC Milan, Liverpool, Arsenal, Leipzig. We've also got, where have we gone? PSG, Real Madrid, Porto, Bayern, Sporting. There's a lot of European sides in this. So it might be the winners of the Champions League and the winners of the Europa League that make their way into this competition. So maybe the Club World Championships is also a trophy that we could win. A trophy that I'm desperately trying to win, by the way, with my Montego Bay United side in my Building a Nation save in Jamaica, which is certainly a very different experience to this. Oh, before we do the usual end of season stuff, I just want to draw your attention to the kits. I like making kits, okay? And here are the new kits that I've made for VfB Stuttgart, sponsored by myself, obviously. But I think they look quite smart. That third kit, I really like the third kit, and I don't know why, but I think they look like really smart kits. Anyway, then let's take a look at the squad. We have got 6 players scoring double figures. Varela, one of them, scoring obviously in the Europa League final. He did only get 5 league goals, but 5 Europa League goals as well. He is utter filth. For a defensive midfielder, he is utter filth. He is wanted by Tottenham. Why would you go there? You've just beaten them in the final. For £34.5 million, we've got a world-class footballer here, right? And this fills my heart with joy. Russell Hammond is our 5th or 4th top goal scorer with 12 goals in all competitions, 8 of them coming in the Europa League, just 4 of them in the Bundesliga. But he's starting to get some goals. He's starting to go up in numbers as well. I mean, we can probably have a look, actually. I mean, it's not going to help, is it? It's not going to help much at all. As long as stamina dropped to 9 for some reason. Why did that drop so far down? But we can see long shots gone up by 2, passing's gone up by 1. We've also got dribbling's gone up, anticipation, flair, positioning. Physically, his agility, that's what it's called, jumping reach, stamina and strength have all gone up as well. So he's getting better at football and generally as a physical person. Fourth top goal scorer then is Rodolfo Caballero, the 22-year-old Mexican international who has currently got a broken foot, so has missed a reasonable part of the season by the looks of it. Also, 10 starts, 15 off the bench, 13 goals, 9 assists. How much football has he missed? Oh, he's only just come off, missed in the last 2 matches, but he has managed to come off the bench. He comes off the bench at half-time or just after half-time for a lot of matches. For a player of his quality, that must be quite frustrating. He's really good. Next up with 14 and 14 is Asani Diao, the 25-year-old Spaniard with just 12 under-21 caps and 13 goals. I don't know why he's not in the Spain squad. I do know why he's not in the Spain squad, because he's not as good as some of the other Spanish players, but he's very good. Considering we brought him in the first season, £30 million felt steep at the time, but he loves a goal and he's still banging them in. Next up is Enzo Milio, 16 goals, 14 assists, so 30 goal contributions for Milio, playing probably as that attacking midfielder. I fear Enzo Milio might be on his way out soon, mainly because he is 28. He will be 29 during the next transfer window, so maybe the next transfer window I might start to look to sell him. Definitely the one after, I will need to try and sell him. I think we can technically have him for Season 7 and Season 8, maybe even Season 9, but I think we're going to move him on before then. And our top goal scorer this season is Elkin Arbeloa, the Colombian international, 25 caps and 8 goals to his name, but 25 goals for us this season, just the 1 assist. He's starting to get there, isn't he? He's taken his time, his first season, I mean, he went out on loan to Heidenheim, didn't he? Actually didn't do too bad. 10 goals in 22 in his first proper season for us, then 10 in 28. He's starting to kind of get a bit of rhythm behind him. I think he could be one of our top goal scorers kind of the whole save if he keeps up this mentality, this kind of approach to the way he's scoring goals. So Villa, Palace, Bayer are all interested. I don't think we're going to sell him unless maybe they want to offer like £150 million. I don't think they're going to. Before we finish off this season, I do want to take a quick look at some of our loan players. So Marco Nicoli spent another season out on loan at Middlesbrough, playing 45 times, scoring a goal as well, which is always nice to see. He is improving. He's not improving quick enough. I think he's going to be good, but he might be a late bloomer, a late developer, Nicoli. He's still got 4.5 star potential, so even the game and my scouts think that he's going to be good. He's just not quite there yet. Who else is worth taking a look at? So I saw this by goals scored. So Oxborough for Wrexham scores 25 goals. Admittedly playing in League One, so that's no real surprise. We've also got Mullen playing for Bournemouth in the Championship, scoring 17. And then we've also got Ilya Kenner playing for Luton in the Championship, scoring 16. So lots and lots of goals there. Then we've got Milton getting just 7 slack. Also in the Championship, scoring just 7 for Sheffield United, but I imagine he might have been playing on the wings. I also want to take a look at Mikel Gonzalez. Played 3 times for Regensburg. I want him to get good as well. Much like Nicoli. I feel like Nicoli and Gonzalez are my 2 project players because they've got high potential, but they are literally not improving. And I really want them to improve, but I don't know how. So Season 6 is in the bag. And so is the Europa League, which means next time around we will be in the Champions League. We have to dream. We have to dream of winning the Bundesliga and the Champions League. So at the start of Season 7, why are we, the manager of VfB Stuttgart, in a Youth to Gold save, looking randomly at Sociedad Deportiva Orcas, a team from Ecuador? Well, last season they were the lucky winners of the Copa Sudamerica, which is effectively the Europa League of the South Americas, beating Lanús of Argentina. It's not really answered your question, has it? Maybe this will answer your question, because in Season 7, we have an extra competition, the European/South American Club Challenge, which is between Orcas and VfB Stuttgart. It seems to be the winner of the Copa Sudamerica and the Europa League, that's what it's called, that's the competition we won last season, play a one-off random match to see who wins. It still gets weirder, though, because for some reason, every single match is played in a 44,000 capacity stadium in Sevilla, the home of Sevilla, but I don't know why. Is it because Sevilla just win the Europa League constantly? They have won it a lot, haven't they? So at the start of Season 7, we have technically 5 different trophies that we could win. The European South American Club Challenge, the UEFA Super Cup, the Bundesliga, the Champions League, and the DFB Pokal. Obviously, I kind of want to win all of them. I feel like we might win this one. Are we going to count it as a trophy? You bet your bottom dollar we're going to count this one as a proper trophy. We could win the quadruple. Not the quadruple, the quintuple? Is that a thing? We could win the quintuple. Obviously, being a Youth to Gold say that we have a couple of rules that we do need to abide by. It means that any player who is 30 years or older, we need to be trying to sell as soon as possible. If we can't sell them, I do kind of allow myself to loan them out. Basically, I don't want to be playing them anymore once they hit 30 years of age at the start of the season. Also, if we want to buy any new players, they all have to be little teenagers, because basically that's part of the rules. We can't buy anybody who is older than the age of 19. So anybody who is 16, 17, 18 or 19, I guess 15 technically if we can find somebody, we can sign. But that is it. And in Season 7, we have one player that we do need to get rid of, and that is Englishman Brandon Williams. He is 30, which means we can no longer play him. He's currently listed and available for £21 million. Burnley do want him on loan, which I will do if we have to. He is also out of contract at the end of the season. So if he does go out on loan to Burnley, we're getting no money for him because he's just going to leave at the end of his contract. I can't really give him a new contract. It feels a bit cheaty to give him a new contract just to then sell him. Obviously, at the start of a new season, it is a new transfer window as well. We've got £93 million to spend, which is quite a lot of money. Do we need to spend it? No, we don't. Are we going to spend it? Maybe. One of these days, I might spend all of my transfer budget. Anyway, let's jump to the end of the first transfer window. We do have some transfer business that we need to be doing, and also we will be saying goodbye to Brandon Williams. Can almost guarantee it. I bet you didn't think Brandon Williams would be ending up here. He's gone to Borussia Dortmund, and he's gone for £15.75 million. We did have to get an intermediary in to try and sell him, because nobody was offering, but £15.75 million for a player who is now 31 years old. We're not allowed to play him according to our rules. That's big money. Another player who has left, not for big money this time around, is Daniel Westphal. He's gone to Freiburg for £225,000, but we've also got one other big name player to leave. And that is Samuel Di Benedetto. He's got no caps for Germany, but do we have the German squad? I can never remember. Is that a thing? It's not a thing. Maybe this is why he doesn't have any caps for Germany, because obviously it's not in the game. But Di Benedetto has moved over to Hertha, and he's gone for 33.5, possibly going up to £41.5 million. He was playing, but most of the time they were coming off the bench. So if you look at the bottom there, so 11 off the bench that time, 15 that season, 13 last season, just 8 starts. So I thought, you know what? Let's take the money. He's still only 26, got plenty of time ahead of him, but we don't really need him apparently. So let's move him on. And we did only bring in 2 new players to the club as well. Jose Maria Munoz, first up, 19-year-old Argentine under-23 international, immediately gone out on loan to Middlesbrough. He's cost £4.4 million, obviously one for the future here. And another left-back is Mohamed Nikolic, certainly not one for the future, signing from Dynamo, the Bosnian international with 8 caps to his name, has come in for £8.75 million. He is the Brandon Williams replacement. He is a Wonderkid. I do wonder how many Wonderkids we actually have in the club. I don't know whether there's an easy way of finding that out. Also, players going on various loan deals. So Brian Dos Santos, after spending last season at Amiens, has gone to Brest this season. We've got Nicholas Nagel going to Nuremberg. Needs to get some first-team football, I believe. Saxon Oxborough continues his time at Wrexham, spending another season there. Did they get promoted? They are still in League One, so no, they did not. Kellen Slack, he's gone over to Leicester, spent last season at Sheffield United. We've got Giovanni Vessi also going to Brest, joining Dos Santos. He's good. I do like Vessi. Don't know why. We've also got Lewis Alsop going on loan to Notts County, a player that we randomly signed from Shrewsbury. He's all right, isn't he? He's certainly, I say one for the future. He's 23. Cesar Moreno has gone to Karlsruhe. Still, I don't know how to say that team's name, sorry, but he's gone on loan there for the season. It'd be good for him to get some game time at a better squad. Morea, gone off to Sunderland. He was at Hansa Rostock last season, played 11 times. He's gone to Sunderland. He's already scored in the Championship. I don't understand Football Manager sometimes. And then Javier Palomino, who we signed last season, he's gone out on loan to St Etienne because basically he wasn't playing for us. Definitely one for the future. He's very good at football, but that is all the business that we have done. I didn't mention this last season, actually, and I feel like I probably should have done. We've got 2 players who I think could be spectacular coming through our youth intake. Max Gunter is a 15-year-old striker, and he's worth £11 to £19.5 million, which, if you know me by now, you'll know that that is my key sign of he's probably got high potential. It's not a guarantee by any means, but he's probably got high potential. We've also got a few other players, so Elovdin, maybe? Elvdin Gomez, who is from Luxembourg, which I love to see. He's costing 1.2 to 2.6 million pounds, so maybe there's something there. We've also got Dursun, who I think could be good, 15-year-old Turkish goalkeeper, possibly valued at 9.6 million pounds. We've also got a few other players who've been knocking about for a while, so like Nothnagel has been here for a few seasons, worth possibly up to 1.7 million pounds, but I don't think these ones are really going to get there. He's on 13.5 grand a week. Who signed that off? Anyway, we did have a couple of matches played as well. First of all, kicking off with the semi-main event is the UEFA Super Cup up against Arsenal. We take the lead after just 17 seconds. The £91 million man, Hammond, opens the scoring against Arsenal. 36 minutes now on the clock. Martinelli has the ball for Arsenal on that left-hand side. Plays it in, finds Manieri. It falls to Saka, and Saka puts it past Chappendonk, making it 1-1. And then as we move into the second half, the 67th minute, Ortiz with the ball for Stuttgart. At the front post is Hammond, falls for Diao, gets a second bite of the cherry, makes it 2-1, and we lift our first trophy of the season. And our second trophy of the season came in the shape of the European South American Club Challenge thingy, whatever it is called. Russell Hammond once again with the opening goal. Look at the capacity. Look at all the people in attendance watching this match. That's all the Aucas fans not bothering to come over from Ecuador, apparently. Hammond finds Arbeloda in the middle. Nikolic finds Diao in the penalty area, puts the ball away, making it 2-0. This is just after half-time, and we are not done there. Ortiz with a throw for us on the right-hand side finds Varela on the ground. Hammond once again getting involved. Diao once again, this time, tucks it away into the bottom corner, making it 3-0. And completing his hat-trick, we do make it 4-0 in the 80th minute. Ortiz on the right-hand side. In the middle, Diao's the man to kick the ball into the back of the net. A 4-0 victory against the Ecuadorian side in Spain. For some reason, we have picked up our second trophy of the season. And there is still the possibility that it could be 5. The DFB Pokal, we have Hanover in the second round. The Champions League, obviously, is the Champions League. We haven't played any matches yet, and we are currently sat 4th place in the Bundesliga after 3 matches. So 2 wins to our name, Borussia Mönchengladbach and Augsburg. 1 defeat, though, against HSV, who are down in 14th place. Not a good defeat, that one. Frankfurt at top of the table with 3 wins, beating Dortmund. That's impressive. A Dortmund side who were champions just 2 seasons ago. Anyway, that is how the season has started. We do have 2 trophies in the bank. Let's jump forward then to January, ready for the next transfer window, and maybe we can see how well we're doing in the Bundesliga. Hopefully we're not knocked out of the DFB Pokal either. Winning 5 trophies is too many trophies, okay? We decided we didn't want to do it. We lost 2-1 against Hanover in the second round of the DFB Pokal. Competition that we did win like 3 seasons ago. However, we're not winning it this time around. We're also not doing particularly amazing when it comes to the Champions League. We've played 6. We have won twice, beating Slavia Prague and Ajax with a positive 6-goal difference. We have drawn against Atletico Madrid, which is actually a very good draw. But we have lost against Tottenham, Barcelona and Liverpool, which is 3 very tough games, although Tottenham we have beaten in the past. In the Bundesliga, however, we sit top of the table. 10 wins to our name, joint with Frankfurt and Bayern. But we've got some good wins in there, beating Leipzig, beating Frankfurt as well. 3 draws. We've got Bayer, we've got Bayern and Schalke. 3 defeats, Freiburg, Werder and HSV, which is not good. HSV 14th. We've got Werder, who are 12th, Freiburg, who are 10th. These are not matches we should be losing. I didn't mention this earlier, okay, and I probably should have done it at the start of the season, but we've locked in 2 players into the squad. Hammond is obviously the first one playing as that attacking midfielder. I feel like he doesn't need to be locked in anymore, but if we take him out, they will probably play Milio, so I'm going to keep him in. He's getting good. I feel like he is now justifying that £91 million. The other player that we have locked in is Mikel Gonzalez. Now, I mentioned him at the end of Season 6, along with Nicoli, that he is kind of one of my project players, because my scouts and my coaches think that there's potential there, but it's not happening. It's not coming out. Low determination is certainly a factor for this. So, what I am trying to do with Mikel Gonzalez, first of all, he's getting game time. He's played 15 matches, in fact 19 matches in all competitions, 2 goals and an assist to his name, both of them coming in the Bundesliga. But also, he's going to be getting a lot of mentoring. I've stuck him in mentoring groups with high determination people. I've heard a rumour, and I don't know how true or accurate this is, but if they're doing well in training, praise them, constantly praise them. So I've been doing that when I get the chance to. If they're doing badly in training, criticise them for bad performances, praise them for good performances, all that kind of thing, which should hopefully kind of alter his under the hood numbers, the ones that you don't actually get to see, things like consistency and stuff like that. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe he's got some really absolute garbage hidden attributes, and we need to try and improve them somehow. The 5 determination is almost certainly part of the problem here. Can we actually look to see how it's gone on? I mean, he's actually improved. He started on 2 determination. I can't believe he had 2 determination. He's now on 5. That's a massive improvement already. I feel like he's gone down 8 in free kick taking. Admittedly, he shouldn't be taking free kicks. There's a lot of red numbers going the wrong way. But these are all in things that he doesn't necessarily need to do. Technique, I'd like him to be higher on. I don't care if he's good at free kicks or finishing. He's a centre-back. We don't need him to do that. Or corners. Just get good at football. Be a good defender. That's what we're here for. Anyway, what I was trying to say is Mikel Gonzalez is going to be playing for a season and we're going to see how well he's going to do. He's doing rubbish, just in case you're wondering. 15 matches, an average of 6.69. He has, like I said, 2 assists, 2 goals and 1 assist. Pretty much nothing else to really shout home about, but getting some game time is hopefully going to improve him. I did also consider doing this with Nicoli. I did do it a few seasons ago because he has played maybe 60 or so matches for us. Over the course of his career. We spent £10.25 million on him. It's a lot of money. But I feel like he is good. Okay? Gonzalez is a much, much bigger challenge. And I want to do it. I want to make Gonzalez good for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway, it is a transfer window. £111 million we've got to spend. Don't know whether we're going to spend any of it at all. £14.5 million. That is all we have spent in the January transfer window. We've signed Dusan Martinovic, an 18-year-old Serbian international wonder kid. He joins our ranks of many, many wonder kids signed from Red Star over in his native Serbia. He's good for £14.5 million. I think that's a pretty decent signing. He is probably going to be a centre-back, but because we're going to keep on with the Mikel Gonzalez experiment, maybe a defensive midfielder might be where he plays most of this season, if he even plays at all. We have also sold one player. Yannick Nothnagel has left the club, signing for Hoffenheim. I think I mentioned him at the start of the season. I just don't think he's any good. He's gone for 9.75, possibly going up to 1.2. But yeah, he's never played for us, and I don't think he ever would. Joining Nothnagel, leaving the club, we do have a whole host of loan spells as well. Rodriguez, McDonald, and Stirrup going on loan to Regensburg, along with Altvater as well. We've got Yassir Khan going to Birmingham. We've got John Mullen over to the MLS, signing for LAFC. Baumgartel has gone to HSV. He's a player that I've got high hopes for as well. He just doesn't ever seem to really do anything. He played a few times for us early on in our save. We've got Osorio. Luis Osorio, he has gone over to Hertha as well. Needs to get a bit more game time, I think. We've got Rent, another player who I've got high hopes for. Just doesn't ever seem to really improve. He's gone on loan to Dusseldorf. Mario Mucker to Augsburg. Is he getting better? Probably not. And then finally, Milton has returned to the northwest of England. He's gone to Preston. He loves it up there for some reason. He's gone from Blackburn to Preston via Hansa Rostock. So that was our transfer window for January. Not a lot really went on. We've still got £106 million to spend. But what's happened in the competitions? Well, the Champions League was okay in the end. 8 matches obviously played. Beating Antwerp was an additional result. And then there was another defeat in there against Juve. We did have a tough few matches there, but we have managed to get through and we'll be up against Marseille in the knockout round, which I feel like we should be good enough to get past. And then we don't know who we're playing the next round because that's not how the Champions League works. I have just seen Real Madrid have won it 4 times in the last 7 or 8 seasons. That's ridiculous. It's not gone well, though, in the Bundesliga. I think we've lost pretty much everything since we were last here. So we've dropped down from 1st place to 5th place, which seems to be our perennial position. We always seem to finish in 5th, so 11 wins. So I think we've got 1 extra win, maybe 1 draw and 2 defeats, or something along those lines. So it's not been a particularly good month of January. We have just fallen like a stone, haven't we? We have fallen like a stone. I don't know how we turn that around. It might be by stopping the Gonzalez experiment, because I feel like his 6.66 average rating over the last 5 matches might be a problem, although he did score in one of those games, so maybe he's fine. Maybe he's not the problem. Anyway, just to confirm, we are still sticking with Gonzalez and Hammond locked into the starting 11. Gonzalez experiment might be a 1-season thing, okay? Might not be, but it might be. Before we take a look at how this season has finished, I just want to kind of look at the youth players. We've not really got a big selection here because these are ones we have actually signed, and there's only one who could be good, and that is Daniel Martin. 6.4 potential value on the top end. I don't think he's going to be amazing. It's probably been one of our worst youth intakes since the save has actually started. From a results perspective, unfortunately, we did not win the Champions League, but we did a very good job, in fact, getting all the way through to the semi-final. A semi-final that was won by Barcelona, setting up a Real Madrid-Barcelona final, which was won by Barcelona. So Real Madrid didn't win it for the 412th time over the course of the competition. Instead, Barcelona have managed to pick up a trophy. I do want to have a look at records. 18 times they've won the Champions League. That's a lot. In the Bundesliga, we did manage to turn things around slightly by finishing third place in the table, just 3 points off Bayern at the top. So I think we kind of went on a bit of a run, maybe towards the end of the season. Lots and lots of big victories. A 5-2 win against Bayern was not enough to derail their title charge. We've also got a bunch of draws in there, a few defeats. We lost twice against HSV. They won 7 all season and 2 of them were against us. Before we look at the squad then, I want to take a quick look at the lone players. In fact, just one. Saxon Oxbow has had another ridiculously good season at Wrexham, scoring 26 in all competitions. Have they got promoted to the Championship? They're third. They are third. They lost in the final of the playoffs. Oxbow was the top goal scorer in the league with 23 goals. How are they not getting up with that amount of goals from one player? He's literally he's a one-man team. So we've only got 4 players who broke 10 goals this season. Russell Hammond is the first of them with 17 and 10 assists. So 17 goals and he is the lowest player to break double figures. That's a lot of goals. He's good. He's got an England cap as well. Who did he play against? He played against Bosnia-Herzegovina back on the 30th of March 2032. It is starting to be justification for the £91 million, okay? It was a waste of money. Admittedly, at the time it was a waste of money, but right now, he's starting to get good. Another superb season for Asani Diao, now 26 years of age. Total of 20 goals in all competitions. So he is probably one of his best seasons. In fact, his second best season maybe with us since joining the club. A lot of league goals, 13 league goals, and then just the, just the 7 in other competitions. So Diao has done well there. We've got Enzo Milio, 15 assists and 21 goals from Milio. I imagine he's playing as a right winger. A defence midfielder and right winger, just kind of jumping between them. Also, maybe an attacking midfielder as well. So he's a bit of a versatile player. The problem is, he is 29. Season 8, we might need to sell him. Technically, we don't, okay? My rules are, if at the start of the season he is under 30, we don't need to sell him. If he turns 30 in the transfer window, we don't need to sell him. But I think I might try and do it. Especially as he's worth 75 to 82 million pounds. And another season being the top goal scorer is Elkin Arbeloda, 24 years of age, 31 caps and 9 goals for Colombia now. He's wanted. Who's he wanted by? Villa and Nantes. Nantes must have a lot of money for some reason because they want to buy a lot of our players at the moment, and I don't know why. 22 goals, 4 assists. So he's got more assists this season. In fact, he's got more assists this season than I think he's got in his entire career playing for us. So fair play, Arbeloda. You're starting to be slightly less selfish. Also, you might spot there, number 6 on our list is Mikel Gonzalez with just 5 goals, but he's got 5 goals. His determination's gone up from 5 to 6. He's getting better. Was the experiment worth it? Probably not, but game time seems to work. His potential ability's dropped. It was 4-star, I'm sure of it, at the start of the season. It's now 3-star. But he is 24. His marking's gone up a lot, apparently. I mean, I always forget you can do this. You can do it all the time and then see here the numbers. Marking's gone up by 3 for some reason. A very sharp increase from 11 to 13 there. We've got concentrations going up. We've got decisions going up. Determination has gone up massively as well. Positioning, vision. Lots and lots of things going up. But general footballing ability is the ones that are sort of being kind of affected, but they're not. They're really not. The ones that kind of would be useful, sort of, for a footballer of his ability or his positioning are kind of these ones, I guess. Some of them have gone down, but they've only gone down by 1 point in total. We've gone up 3 in marking. All in all, I'd say he's improved. He's certainly not a good footballer, okay? But maybe next season we keep this experiment going. And maybe next season we introduce Marco Nicoli as well. Just a thought. We are now 8 seasons deep into our Youth to Gold save with VfB Stuttgart, and we technically don't have anybody that we need to sell. However, Enzo Milio will be turning 30 in about 17 days in game, which means we probably should look at selling Milio at the start of Season 8. But he is the only player. This is our squad. We have Milio, who is 29, soon to be 30. We've got Ulrich, who's 27, and then we've basically got all of these players from this point downwards that we've basically signed ourselves, or they have come through various youth intakes. Something that has always been kind of out of our reach of our Youth to Gold save with VfB Stuttgart is the Bundesliga. In fact, most of the time, the top 4 has been out of our reach. We've been finishing 5th or 6th quite a lot of times. Last season, it was actually a 3rd place finish, which means this time around, we do find ourselves in the Champions League. A Champions League that I don't think we're going to be good enough to win, but a Champions League that I hope we're going to be good enough to do reasonably okay at. Is that a good kind of description of what I want to do this year? Obviously, on the 1st of July, the transfer window has opened, but no business has taken place as of yet. We've got a whopping £67 million to spend, but as this is a youth to gold save, we can only buy teenagers or younger. And by younger, that means 12-year-olds, right? We can't buy 12, we can only buy teenagers. That makes a lot more sense. And if the police or FBI or whoever is kind of interrogating our YouTube videos, it's fictional, I'm not really buying children. Well, I guess the first thing that we need to do then is jump forward to the end of the first transfer window. We will probably do a fair amount of business. Milio, I think, will be leaving the club. I'm hoping he leaves on a permanent transfer and not a loan spell. But basically, he's not going to be here come the end of the start of September. He is not here. He has moved over to FC Nantes in France for £44 million. I can only assume that Nantes are doing okay. They're not. He's literally been PSG and Nice. Nantes finished 3rd. Have they just had like a big old takeover? Because they are spending silly money. Like, they are spending £189 million. So in 2028, they had Joel Janssen take over, who is a tycoon. So I can only assume he is a billionaire who's just throwing money at this squad. But they're just spending silly money, signing Enzo Milio for £44 million from us. But not just that. Obviously, that's the most expensive. They signed Amadou Onana for 30, Lano Gil for 26, 22 million on a guy called Siga Balanova for 21, Quaresma for 20. They're spending a lot of money, and they're doing that most seasons. 113 that season, 91 that season. They've spent silly money. Anyway, we're not in control of Nantes, but maybe in a different universe we might be. We have sold Milio there. He's gone for £44 million. We have sold £141 million worth of players, and that could technically increase. Because we sold Yassir Khan to FC Metz, he's gone for about £4 million or £3 million, possibly going up to £3.1 million. And then there's one other player. Yes, he's gone for about £100 million. And that is Yannick Chappendonk. He has moved over to Chelsea because they needed a 9th goalkeeper. He's gone for £90 million, possibly going up to £100 million. Is he their number one? Like, I feel like he might not be their number one. So they've got Petrovic is still there, who's still very good. They've got Luis Jr., who's very good. They've got Chappendonk, who we know is very good. And they've also got Caleb Anson, who's very good. Chelsea are going to Chelsea, aren't they? They're just going to do it every time. We have also spent £32.5 million, I think, in total, bringing in 3 new players to the club. Marcelo Gutierrez is the first one to join. He's technically the Chappendonk replacement, but not really, because he's not going to be our number one goalkeeper. 19 years of age, Uruguayan international, cost £5 million from Nacional. Obviously one for the future, but definitely could be one for now. For £6.25 million, we have signed Juan Cruz Zapata, who is an Argentine left winger signed from San Lorenzo, and he's immediately gone out on loan to Aston Villa. And I will tell you why he's gone out on loan. It is not because I don't intend on playing him, it's because technically I cheated, okay? He turned 20 on the 16th of the 8th, and I think we signed him on like the 18th of the 8th. The deal was going through. I found him when he was 19, and I was doing all the right things, and we didn't complete it in time. So technically we signed him when he was 20, and I thought the best way to punish myself is to loan him out where he's probably going to get more game time playing for Aston Villa. So is it really a punishment? And the final player that we have signed has cost us £21 million from Celtic. It is Scottish international striker Tony Irwin, who I think could be very good. My coaches think he's going to be very good. My scouts thought he was going to be very good, which is why we've thrown probably too much money. But then again, we did spend nearly £100 million on Russell Hammond. So maybe £21 million is actually a reasonable sum of money for somebody who could possibly be a world-class footballer. He is currently a wonder kid. I think everyone we've signed actually in the summer is a wonder kid. Yes, all 3 of them are wonder kids. You can see as well, obviously, a whole bunch of loans have taken place. Nicolas Nagel has gone to VfL Wolfsburg. We have got Vessi to Stoke. Mikel Gonzalez to Valenciennes. Last season, he was the experiment. Didn't really go too well. He did increase his determination, and that was about it. Baumgartel, Sievert, Rodriguez, and Alvatar have all gone on loan to Farrell Costanza, one of our brand new feeder clubs. We've got Stirrup, who's gone to Regensburg. We've got Kesmenlini, who's gone to Rostock. We've got Zapata, as we know, to Villa, Oxborough to Coventry, Ross McDonald to Rostock, Lewis Alsop to Portsmouth, Elias Murray to Luton, Moreno to Karlsruhe. We've got Ilekenya to Hoffenheim and Luis Osorio going to Hertha. So yeah, it's been kind of 3 transfers in, 3 transfers out, and then 7 million loans apparently. We have obviously kicked off the season already. We are currently sat 3rd in the table. 2 wins against Augsburg and Union Berlin, and a draw as well against RB Leipzig. Everyone at the top of the table, in fact the top 5, all on 7 points. So right now we're in a good place, but obviously 3 games played. Literally anything could happen from this point on, and we could finish bottom of the table. We also beat SV Meppen 4-0 in the DFB Pokal first round, because we play normally, I say always a bunch of amateurs. I mean, they're a professional side. A lot of the time you play a bunch of amateurs. Obviously, we are in the Champions League this season. These are our opponents. So Liverpool at Anfield. We've got Porto at home. We've got Red Star over in Serbia. Lyon in France. We've got Real Madrid at home, heading to St James's Park to play Newcastle. And then Sparta Prague and Galatasaray, both home matches finishing off. I mean, if we can get out of the group stage, that's obviously good. If we can finish top 8, that's good. I'm not expecting the world, but I feel like because we've obviously done well in the Europa League in the past, winning that, I feel like we should be good enough to do okay in the Champions League. We should be getting to maybe quarterfinals, possibly even a semi-final of this. Maybe not this season, but, you know, one season we could manage to do that. Before we jump to the end of December and at the middle of the winter break, I just want to confirm to you that we are not locking in anybody for this season. So basically the assistant manager can basically do what he wants. And we do have technically 4 assistant managers. I think this is the guy, David Cresidlo, who is our kind of our number 1 assistant manager. So he's the one who's winning the manager of the months and things like that. So he's the main guy, but we do have, like I said, 4 of them in total. But this is the one who's basically doing all the hard work. Arguably, we can do better. Right then, let's jump forward then to December, see how well the first half of the season goes, see how well our first 6 matches, I think, in the Champions League go as well, and obviously we'll be straight into another transfer window. Well, let's kick things off then with the DFB Pokal, and you'll notice we're not in the quarter-final, and that's because in the second round, we drew Bayern Munich, which we lost on penalties, which is kind of frustrating. I guess we're supporting Hansa Rostock at this point, because they got through to the third round, beating Karlsruhe into the quarter-final where they play Hertha. I think they're not good enough to win anything, but the fact that they've managed to get all the way through to the quarter-final, and there's big teams there. Obviously, Bayern are a big team, but nobody else there is kind of stand out a superb side. So I feel like there's a weird kind of outside chance that Hansa Rostock could win the DFB Pokal. When it comes to the Champions League, it's not going amazing, is it? We have got defeats against Newcastle and Liverpool. We've got draws against Real Madrid and Lyon. We've got victories, though, against Red Star and Porto. So we're beating the teams you should expect us to beat. We're drawing with teams that arguably we should be drawing with. Maybe Real Madrid we should lose to. And we're losing against teams that maybe we should be losing to. So is this bad? I mean, it's not good. We should be winning more games than what we are managing to do. But we are still within a shot of getting through to the first knockout round. And ultimately, that's all we need to do. Just get through the group stage, get through the kind of the tough bit, and then it's just straight knockout football, and then we should be fine. I say that like knockout football's easy and makes sense to everybody. It's not going to be fine, because we're probably going to end up playing somebody like, I don't know, Real Madrid and losing 6-0 to them. Something that is going fine, though, is the Bundesliga. Last season, I think we were in a similar situation where we were top of the table for quite a while, and then we started to plummet like a stone, or maybe a few seasons ago that was the case. This time around, we've played 16, we have won 14 of them, and I think there's some good victories in there, beating Bayern actually 3-2. We've got 2 draws against HSV and Leipzig and 0 defeats to our name. The problem is RB Leipzig also have 0 defeats to their name. So they've got a couple of draws in there, more than we do, but everything else is pretty much the same. They've let in 5. They've let in 5 goals in 16 games. That's ridiculous. Obviously, transfer window is open. Huge amount of money to spend. We've got £132 million because of the Schappendonk money that came in over the summer that we are basically never going to be able to spend properly at all. So let's jump forward to the end of January, see how much of that money we can waste. Before we talk about wasting money, because we've brought in, I think, 2 new players into the club, we are still top of the league. And it is now a 5-point gap between us and Leipzig because they have lost a match and we have just kept on winning and drawing. So we've got draws against Union Berlin and Bayer, I think, are the 2 new ones, but we've also got some victories in there. 5 points clear at the top of the table after we are over the halfway point. We could win the Bundesliga this season. That is a distinct possibility. We could also win the Champions League because we have made it through the league phase. We finished 12th in the end, so the final 2 matches, we beat Galatasaray 6-2 and then Sparta Prague 11-0. How did we win 11-0? That's ridiculous. We'll have a look at that in just a second. So we are through that. We're into the knockout playoff round against Ajax. If we get past that, Obviously, we will then be drawing one of the top 8 teams there. Realistically, Nice. Nice is the one you want, isn't it? We should be good enough to beat Nice. From a transfer window perspective, 3 players have left on loan, but one of them we will get to in a moment. Mario Mucker is one of them. He's gone over to West Brom, obviously in England, playing in the Championship, getting some game time there, which will be very helpful for him. Spent a few seasons out on loan at teams like Augsburg, didn't really play there. Went to Hansa Rostock, didn't really play there. Weirdly going to the Championship, and he's already started 3 matches. I don't understand Football Manager sometimes. Another player who's headed over to England to get some more game time is Argentine international Ezequiel Amato, now 26 years of age. The 6'6" centre-back, he needs game time. He spent last season, or not last season, a few seasons ago, on loan at Watford. Is he possibly going to become English? Is that a thing? Continuously, so it's not going to become a thing. Fair enough. But, he's good, right? He's good at football. He just needs, I don't know what it is. I don't know. There's just something about that isn't good. We have got 2 players who have joined the club, and obviously, at least one of them is a Wonderkid. Jan Svoboda is an 18-year-old Czech defence midfielder and centre-back signed from Slavia Prague. Definitely one for the future, but also can do a job for us now. He is in as a squad player. He is loan listed, so if anybody does want him, obviously they can take him, but he's good. He's good at football. He's 18. He's cost £8.5 million because we've got money to waste. Realistically, he's probably not worth that. I mean, he probably is, but he's come directly from Czechia, so maybe he shouldn't be worth that amount of money. But we've got the money to spend, so we have spent it. We've also spent about £16 million on someone else and immediately loaned them out. And that is 19-year-old Brazilian attacking midfielder Mazinho. He has been signed from Flamengo and gone out on loan to Nice, a team that I want to draw in the Champions League. So if we do draw them in the Champions League, does that mean we might be playing against Mazinho? I don't know, but of course he's a Wonderkid. That's all we seem to do now is just sign Wonderkids. We brought in 5 players this season. Every single one of them has been a Wonderkid, and we've only spent about £50 million. Mazinho, definitely one for the future, but I think he's good, right? I think we've got ourselves another good player. For the second half of the season, I have decided that we're going to lock in one player, and that is Roberto. And the one reason is he wants to play more football, and I think he's good enough to play more football, so we're going to lock him in as a centre-back for the second half of the season. I think he's good. I don't know. The problem is he's only 2-star potential, or 2.5-star potential, so I don't know whether he's going to get any better than that. So it might be a risk maybe in the summer we just look to sell him on. He is wanted by Bristol City on loan, because why isn't he? They want everyone on loan apparently. But yeah, I mean, we'll lock him in, see how well he does. This could be a terrible idea, because we might not win the league by locking in Roberto. Sometimes you've got to take these risks. And I guess, without further ado then, let's jump forward and find out if we do manage to win the league. We'll also find out if we manage to win the Champions League. I'm not convinced that one's going to happen. We'll find out. We'll jump straight into the Champions League match where we either win or get knocked out. So it was a tie that I wanted to have up against Nice. Nikolic has the ball for us. We are 15 minutes in. Arbeloda opens the goal scoring for us. 15 minutes on the clock. However, just a few minutes later, our own player, Mazinho, something I thought might happen, sets up Sauer, who makes it 1-1 on the 16th minute. And in case you haven't guessed it just yet, we did get knocked out by Nice in the round of 16. We did get past Ajax, but we got knocked out. Bayo, probably isn't his name, tucks that ball past Kadlec, who is our number 1 goalkeeper, by the way, after Schapendonk left, making it 2-1 to Nice. And then it is not over in the 90th minute. Pras collects the ball on the left-hand side. Acres and acres of space, runs towards goal, finds Bailio again, tucks that ball away past Kadlec. It's a 3-1 defeat. In fact, it's a 4-3 defeat on aggregate. If they didn't score that goal at the end, we would have gone to extra time. It is annoying seeing our own player there with an assist and a decent rating, but sometimes Football Manager just kind of likes to screw you over like that. However, one thing Football Manager has not done is screwed us over when it comes to the Bundesliga. We have been crowned champions of Germany. We take the lead in this match here against Bayer through Arbeloda, the Colombian international. On the 8th minute, we double our lead. It's Evans, the Welsh central defender, tucks that ball past with a lovely headed effort there. We make it 3-0 on the 29th or 30th minute. Roberto, locked in as a centre-back, plays it across to Evans, the full-back. The full-back? He's not a full-back. I think he's a centre-back as well. Caballero is the man in the middle to put that ball away. The game is not finished just yet, though. In the second half, just 5 minutes into it, we make it 4-0. Caballero with a lovely... Was that a Rabona? Finds Hammond in the middle. We win the match 4-0, and that 4-0 victory not only confirms us as champions of Germany, but we are invincible. We have won the league with 27 wins, 7 draws and 0 defeats. In fact, that win against Bayern didn't kind of crown us champions. And I'm going to assume that we were crowned champions possibly there. Imagine if you win 8-0 and then get crowned champions at the end of the match as well. That would be amazing. So we are champions of Germany. I didn't think this was going to happen, but we are champions of Germany for the first time since 2006, 2007. Every other competition that we're in was kind of a bit of a shambles, getting knocked out in the round of 16 by Nice and the second round of the DFB Pokal by Bayern Munich. But the fact that we are champions of Germany is obviously very, very good. Season 9, we enter the Club World Championship. We can already see who is going to be in our group. It will be Colo Colo of Chile. We also have ES Tunis of Tunisia and Real Madrid, obviously, of Spain. I think we should be getting through that. I mean, the Club World Championship is a bit of a strange competition in real life and in Football Manager because obviously a lot of the time just European sides end up kind of powerhousing their way through. So Real Madrid will probably get through with ourselves. We're probably going to see Newcastle, I'm going to say River in Group D. It's going to be Barcelona and Roma going through in Group C. Group B is probably going to be Boca and Porto. Group A is probably going to be Arsenal and PSG. We've also got Group F, G and H down here. So AC Milan and Al Ahly. In Group G, that's an interesting group. Of all the groups, that's the interesting one. Obviously, Al Ahly from Egypt. We've got Al Ittihad from Saudi Arabia, PSV from the Netherlands, and Palmeiras from Brazil. That one could go literally anyway. And then Group H, we have a fellow German side in Bayern, probably getting through with Benfica. Or maybe Al Dahail. I can't imagine Leon of Mexico getting through. They might do, you never know. Before we end the season then, I just want to draw your attention to 3 youth players that have joined the club. We've got Levi Hughes, who is a Welshman who's come through our youth intake. He might be alright. These basically, I don't really do too much with the youth intakes. I have a look at them and go, he looks like he's probably good. I'm definitely going to sign him up, but for the most part, I just let the sort of assistant or head of youth development do that. We've got Mert Kosak, could be his name, a 16-year-old goalkeeper, signed obviously. I'm not expecting the world from him. He is wanted by lots of teams though, so maybe there could be something there. Potential value of £1.1 million. And then we have Janos Katona, who again, I'm not expecting the world from Katona. He's not a striker. I don't know why you think you're a striker, mate. You've got 7 finishing. You might be a winger. Maybe, I was going to say an advanced playmaker, possibly. You're certainly not a striker. Somebody who is a striker, however, is Tony Irwin. Obviously, our signing in the summer from Celtic. Didn't actually start a huge amount of football, only scoring 6 goals, but 5 starts, 21 off the bench. Improving, though, which is very good. His value is 93 to £110 million. Rodolfo Caballero, the 24-year-old Mexican international, is still utterly ridiculous. He's got 23 assists, 18 goals as well in all competitions. He's amazing. For what? £6.25 million. I was not expecting him to turn into somebody this good. He's so good for us, and he's only 24. Arbeloda is still kind of getting better. He's still scoring a lot more goals, 20 this time around. So, he's not getting 20 league goals a season. That's what I want to be seeing from Arbeloda. I want to see 20 league goals. He's getting 20 in all competitions, but only 13 in the league. Russell Hammond is actually doing just as good, if not better. 22 in all competitions, 17 of them coming in the league. Obviously playing as that attacking midfielder. 2 England caps now to his name. A value of 99 to £121 million. I feel like I'm vindicated for my £91 million signing. It was a lot of money at the time, but I trusted the scouts, and my scouts were quite clearly right. And the top goal scorer is somebody who was obviously a real player, somebody who joined us in Season 1, technically, of our Season 1, is Asane Diao, scoring lots and lots of goals. 18 in the league, 26 in all competitions, 10 assists. This is his best season ever with the club. He's 27. He's going to be 28. I mean, we're not going to have to sell him, are we? I think the Season 10, he might be 30, but Diao might be here until the end of time. Not the end of all time, just the end of this save, obviously. I do want to take a quick look at Roberto. Obviously, we did lock him in for the latter half of the season. He played 18 games in total. Did all right, actually. 7.05, 2 goals and an assist to his name. I want to have a look as well at Marco Nicoli, who we didn't loan out. He did start 15 matches, 12 off the bench in the league, 21 starts in all comps. He's getting better, isn't he? He's getting better. He's still not good, but he's getting there. I will take a look, actually. So having a look at the loans. We've obviously loaned out everyone under the sun. Let's sort by club. So Zapata, we're not going to care too much about Zapata. We've got, what's his name? He went to Valencians. Mirko Gonzalez played 35 times. He played football. He's still rubbish. The fact that he's played 30 times in Ligue 2 says to me that this is his level. Okay, we've found his level. He is improving. He's still not proving enough. I'm genuinely tempted to try and do a video based on the career of a player like this, where my sole purpose is to get him good at football. I don't know how I will do this, or if this is even possible, but this is how I like to kind of develop players. I like to pick players who shouldn't get good and try and get them good. Players with terrible kind of hidden attributes, terrible determination, weird attributes in strange places, like really aggressive, like right wingers that don't need to be aggressive, things like that. So Mikel Gonzalez, for me, he's a little project, and I'm determined to get him good. I'm hoping he's a late bloomer, but the potential ability of 2 stars now is not filling me with hope. What is filling me with hope, however, is Niklas Nagel at VfB Wolfsburg in Bundesliga 2 has got 13 goals this season. He's done really, really well, 45 goals for every single team that he's played for, although 17 of them did come for VfB Stuttgart 2 that season and 6 the following season. I need to check who won the DFB Pokal. Was it Hansa Rostock? No, it was Hertha. It was Hertha, who are finished 18th. They've been relegated. They've been relegated, finishing bottom of the table, but won the Europa League. Won the DFB Pokal, qualified for the Europa League in Bundesliga 2. Where did they get knocked out? So they got knocked out in the quarterfinal. Okay, they lost against the eventual winners. That's not that exciting. I was hoping Hansa Rostock would get to a final. So season 8 in the bag for our VfB Stuttgart Youth to Gold save. Season 9, obviously we have just 2 seasons left. We've got nobody to sell. Laurent Ulrich, maybe. We don't need to sell him, but he's not really playing, so maybe we can kind of shift him on. If we can get £10 million, that's pretty good, especially if we've got a little bit of interest. But we don't need to sell anybody, which means season 9 is probably just going to be us trying to spend a whole bunch of money, because we know we've got a lot of it. £70 million to spend. We might buy some more Wonderkids. Season 8 of our Youth to Gold save with VfB Stuttgart was probably our most successful ever. It might actually be our most successful in the entirety of the save. We are obviously now in Season 9, and we are going to be going to the Club World Cup this year. A Club World Cup which appears to be held in South Korea for some reason. I don't know why. Last time around it was Australia. The season, or not season, but the time before that, it was over in the USA like in real life. Because this is a Youth to Gold save, just a very quick reminder of the rules. We are not allowed to sign anybody who is not a teenager. Basically, if they are 20 or older, we are not allowed to sign them. But we are allowed to sign 19-year-olds also. We must sell anybody who is 30 years old. Which, luckily for us, is actually nobody, because we basically just got rid of absolutely anybody who is even approaching 30 years old, which means that Laurent Ulrich, who might be getting 30 within the next couple of seasons, he might be out the door in the summer. Obviously, at the start of a brand new season, we do have a transfer window. However, we are back on the 12th of June rather than the 1st of July because of the Club World Cup. A Club World Cup, by the way, that we will be up against Colo Colo of Chile, ES Tunis, and Real Madrid. We should be finishing in the top 2 of this group. I don't know whether we should be able to win this or not. I've no idea. I feel like we should be able to get far enough. Like semi-finals, I'd take that. That would be a very good performance for us. We've now jumped forward a little bit now to the 1st of July, so the transfer window has opened. Obviously, we are still part of the way through the Club World Cup, and we have made it all the way through to the quarter-finals up against Benfica, a tie that we should certainly be good enough to win. We are one of 7 European sides left in the competition. River of Argentina, the only team not from Europe left in the competition. How did we get here? Well, let's jump to all groups, because I can't remember what one we're in. We won the group. We won twice against ES Tunis and Colo Colo, scoring 10 goals and conceding 0, and we drew 3-3 with Real Madrid. That set up a second round tie up against Al Ahly of Saudi Arabia, where we eventually beat them 3-2 after extra time, and then that brings us into the quarter-final. I'm starting to think we could win this. We should be getting to the semi-final, where we're going to have, PSG, Bayern or Real Madrid, and then, let's say, Barcelona. I'm assuming PSG are going to beat River. They might not. Anyway, the transfer window is now open, of course. We've done absolutely no business as of yet. We have a whopping £70 million to spend, and because we have only got, technically, 3 transfer windows left, or 4 transfer windows left, between now and the end of this save, which will end at the end of Season 10, I feel like we need to spend it at some point. Maybe not this season, maybe this season. I mean, we do spend silly money on silly people. It could happen again. Right then, let's jump forward to the end of the transfer window. We will obviously see what happens as well in the Club World Cup. Hopefully, we can put our first trophy in the cabinet for the season. We are in 5 competitions. We will also see the German Super Cup to see how well we can do in that. The Champions League will also start. Obviously, we're not going to actually do anything. We might actually play a game. Probably not. But yeah, let's jump forward then to about the 1st of September. We made it all the way through to the Club World Cup final, where up against PSG we took the lead after just 3 minutes. Hughes from the penalty spot in the second half, in the 62nd minute. PSG, however, managed to equalise in the match. It is João Rego getting a bit of space, finding Goslar on that left-hand side and finding Mbappe in the middle. But that led to penalties. Nothing else really happened. I say nothing else. Mbappe technically did score a goal, but it got disallowed. It took us all the way through to penalties. And penalties that were eventually won by ourselves, somewhat anticlimactic because I can't work out how to actually get the replays of the missed penalties. It shows me all the scored ones, but not the missed penalties. We managed to win, what is that, 6-5 on penalties. Mbappe missing a penalty for PSG, Varela missing one for us, but Borza missing the vital penalty for PSG, meaning we are champions of the world, I think. Nobody really calls it that, do they? Nobody calls it champions of the world, but we are champions of the world. We join the illustrious company of Arsenal, Inter Milan, Man City, Real Madrid, Chelsea, Bayern, Liverpool. Real Madrid won it a lot, apparently. Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern, Corinthians, possibly one of the very few teams not from Europe to win it. We've got Barcelona, Inter, Barcelona, Man United, AC Milan, International Sporting, it's not Sporting, Santos, I'm not quite sure, and Corinthians once again. So, basically European sides that win it from this point out. We have also kicked off the league. We're on top of the table, 3 wins out of 3. We've beaten Freiburg, Kiel and Hoffenheim 3-0, every single one of them, meaning we have a positive 9 goal difference with 0 goals conceded. We have also won the German Super Cup, beating Hertha 3-0 in the final. Obviously not showing you highlights of that. We've also had a transfer window where we spent stupid money. First of all, 5 players have left on permanent deals. Kylian Buchmann has left. He has moved over to Schalke for not a lot of money. He's gone for £140,000. Marcos Cardenas has also left the club. He has moved over to St. Pauli for £165,000. I don't know how we've managed to get an Ecuadorian 18-year-old through our youth intake, but we did, and we sold him. Moving into players that you've probably actually heard of, John Mullen has moved over to the United Kingdom, signing for Bristol City for £4 million. I mentioned that he might be on his way out, and he certainly did leave the club. Lauren Ulrich has moved over to BMG for a massive £20 million, 17.5, initially going up to £20 million for somebody who basically was just coming off the bench for the last, three seasons for the most part. He was a bench player. That's a lot of money. And somebody who isn't a bench player, or wasn't a bench player, has moved over to Nantes. It is Mikel Perez, and he's gone for £62 million. I think I mentioned Nantes before, maybe in the last episode, that they've got a stupid amount of money, and they just love spending it. And they are spending it on our players, which is lovely to see. It means we have sold, I think, £90 million worth of players in the summer, and we're going to spend some of it. Not a lot of it, to be honest. We've brought in 3 players. We've brought in Christea Madeline, an 18-year-old Romanian international who's utterly ridiculous in my eyes, signed from Universitatea Craiova. He has cost us £6.25 million. Is he a wonder kid? Of course he's a wonder kid, and a perfectionist. He could be amazing. I mean, he already is amazing, right? For £8.5 million, we've gone over to Sparta Prague to sign Josef Navratil, an 18-year-old Czech international striker, and apparently maybe a right-back. I'm not quite sure why he might be a right-back. He is not a wonder kid, but he is obviously very, very good. He's not cost a lot of money. He's gone back on loan to Sparta Prague for the rest of the season because we're not going to play him. And finally, Levin Kroner, who is an 18-year-old German international central defender signed from RB Leipzig, spent last season out on loan at Kiel. Just guess. Tell me in the comments how much you think we paid for him, and I will tell you that you're completely wrong because it is £73 million. I think it might even go higher than £73 million. Basically, the board want us to sign German players and German-based players, and I can't bring myself to do it. But Kroner, obviously, 18 years of age, he's good, he's international footballer, he's a wonder kid, he's lots of 13s and 14s, which means once they bump up to, I think, 16, 17, 18, that's when they turn green. He's going to look really, really good. He doesn't look amazing right now, but he is worth £83 to £99 million. I think it's sensible money. And that is actually all we have done for players joining the club, leaving. We've also got a whole bunch of loan spells. Nicolas Nagel going to Freiburg, Mazinho going to Mainz, Sorio going to Newcastle, Ilakena going to Real San Sebastian, Svoboda to Brighton, Amato to Palace, Cesar Moreno to Karl Schürrle, Morea to Rennes, Kellen Slack to Marseille, Braden Stirrup to Wigan, Ross McDonald's gone to Augsburg, Gutierrez to Palace, Navratil we know has gone to Sparta Prague, Oliver Rent has gone to Wolfsburg, we've got Cunha to Regensburg, and Mikel Gonzalez. The experiment will continue, hopefully this time now at Hansa Rostock. He'll get a bit more game time. I think he went there a few seasons ago. He did. He played 20 times for the second team. So yeah, it's been quite a busy summer. Obviously, lots of money has been moving around, but we now have even more transfer budget to spend. We've got £331 million in the bank. I literally cannot spend that money quick enough. From a squad perspective, we are only locking in one player, and that is Krona. We're only locking him in because I'm not convinced he'll play enough. I feel like they play Evans and Varela, but I think Krona needs to get that game time, because obviously, obviously he's good, but I don't think he's good enough. He's still only a 2-star player at the moment. Give him a season, he'll be superb, okay? And that's what we're basically going to do. Next season, we shouldn't need to lock him in anymore. Right, let's jump forward then to the end of the initial part of the season. It'll be the start of the January transfer window. We should be still top of the table. We should still be doing well in the DFB Pokal, and we should hopefully be doing all right in the Champions League as well. I want to finish top 8. I want to finish top 8 in the group. So first things first, in the DFB Pokal we are into the quarterfinal up against VfL Wolfsburg. We have beaten Osnabrück 4-1, and in the second round we beat Eintracht Frankfurt, and I don't think we were in the first round. And yes, we were. We won 10-1 against Eilenberg, because, you know, we often play a bunch of amateurs in this competition. It's just fun. Surely this shouldn't happen, right? They just get spanked every season. When it comes to the Bundesliga, we are still top of the table, and we are still undefeated. 13 wins, 3 draws. The draws have come against Bayern, Leipzig and Frankfurt, and obviously the wins have come against literally everybody else. We played 16 matches, so one team we haven't played at the moment. I'm guessing it might be Bayern. Just want to have a look now. No, we've just played Bayern and we've beaten them 4-0. That's ridiculous. And finally, in the Champions League, we are down in 11th place at the moment. We have got 3 wins against Arsenal, Juve and Celtic, 2 draws against Napoli and Porto, and 1 defeat up against AC Milan. The funny thing to me is top of the group is Austrian side Sturm Graz with 4 wins and 2 draws. They've beaten Reims, they've beaten Bilbao, they've beaten Man United and BMG. They've had kind of arguably an easy run there, and they have drawn with Sporting and drawn with Bayern. So they've only scored 9 goals, but they have managed to get them through the knockout round, or through to the knockout rounds of the Champions League with 2 games to spare. I'm assuming their 2 games to spare are going to be against some of the big boys, so Benfica and PSG. I mean, they're not... obviously, PSG is big. Benfica is big, but they're probably like a Bilbao. They're not massive, are they? Just seeing they're managed by Ralph Hasenhüttl, which, as a Saints fan, I don't know whether I like that or hate that. Anyway, it is a transfer window. We've got £143 million to spend now, and I'm honestly not even sure why. So last month we didn't sell any players, but yeah, we've just got a lot more money. That was like 80. It's gone up by a huge sum of money. I imagine maybe somebody with a 50% sell on sold or something like that, but there's no big spikes. There's 113 million there and 108 million there, but that seems to be every season. So that's going to be prize money, and then that's going to be transfers. So I don't know. Maybe they've just seen how much money we've got and gone to spend half of it. Just see what you can do. Obviously, with the window open, it's been open for a total of 8 hours at the moment. We haven't done any business at the moment. We will go forward to the end of January, see if we can spend any of this £140 million. I'm not convinced we can, but let's give it a go. We brought in one player to the club, and that is Chik Koulibaly, who is a 19-year-old French under-21 international right-back, signed from Metz and has immediately gone out on loan to Amiens. His value right now is £51 to £70 million. We definitely overspent. £26 million was spent on Koulibaly. I really wanted a new right-back, okay? We sold Perez in the summer, and we didn't really replace him. Or if we did replace him, I say replace, we didn't need to replace him technically, but we need to kind of get another decent youngster who's going to get as good as Perez. And I'm hoping Koulibaly is that man. That is all the business we've done. We've loaned out a few people as well. Juan Cruz Zapata has gone out on loan to West Ham, the player that we signed technically when we shouldn't have signed him because he turned 20 when we signed him. We've also got Giovanni Vessi has gone out on loan to BMG, who needs to get a bit of game time. He's also got Italy caps. I could have sworn he was only German, but there we are. He's got Italy caps. Fair enough. From a competition standpoint, we are still top of the Bundesliga now. 16 wins, 4 draws to our name and 0 defeats. In the Champions League, we have finished in the top 8. We have qualified in 6th place with 5 wins. Shakhtar, Dortmund, Arsenal, Juve and Celtic, 2 draws against Napoli and Porto, and 1 defeat against AC Milan. And we're also into the DFB Pokal semi-final after beating Wolfsburg. Do we know who we're going to be playing in the semi-final? Or does it get drawn? It just needs to get drawn. Fair enough. And we know we've won the Super Cup. And before we jump to the end of the season, just to confirm, we have not changed who is locked into the starting 11. Kroner is that man. Numbers are increasing. He's got 2 greens now. I think he only had 1 last time. So I think technique has moved from a 15 to a 16. He's getting better. I feel like this just needs to happen. I just need to lock him in order to kind of fulfill his potential a little bit more. Otherwise, he's just not going to do it. Let's jump forward then to the end of the season. Are we going to win the Bundesliga back-to-back? We are currently top 10 points clear of Leipzig and Bayern. Are we going to do all right in the Champions League? I'd love to win the Champions League as well. I feel like it might be a bit too far out of our reach, but you never know. In the Champions League, then, we lose at the quarter-final stage, losing up against FC Bayern. Obviously, another German side, not ideal. We managed to get in the... we didn't go through the playoffs, obviously. I'm happy Sturm Graz got through. Well done to them. In the round of 16, we played Sturm Graz and beat them 9-0 on aggregate. So they did well to get that far, and then we turned up and absolutely smashed them. In fact, every single away team wins. That just seemed a bit weird. And then, yeah, in the quarter-final, obviously, that is where we fall over. A final eventually won by Arsenal beating Real Madrid 2-0. We did manage to pick up our second or third trophy, of the season in the DFB Pokal. Nikolic finds Irwin on that left-hand side, puts it past the goalkeeper, making it 1-0 just before half-time. We're obviously up against Bayer in the final. They do manage to equalise, actually. Early on in the second half, 49th minute, Frimpong goes for a little run through the middle, plays it into Silla, takes a touch, dinks it past Kadalic, making it 1-1, and then we decide we've had enough of this nonsense, and we are just going to score lots and lots of goals. Nikolic with a throw, 70 minutes on the clock, gets the ball back from Nicoli. Is he going to cross the ball in, or is he just going to walk it, instead plays it across to Nicoli, blasts it past the keeper? Seconds later, we make it 3-1. Varela chests the ball down on the edge of the area, finds Evans, lovely little pass, Arbeloda's in the middle, making it 3-1. We're still not done either. The 74th minute, Varela steals that ball away from a Bayer player on the ground to Tony Irwin, and Irwin puts the ball into the back of the net. But of course, we are still not done. Varela back to Nicoli. Where is he going to go? On the ground, Arbeloda with a lovely bit of space. Lovely ball as well from Nicoli. Puts it past the goalkeeper as well. And finally, in the 87th minute, we make it 6-1. Martinovic with the headed effort from the corner, meaning we lift the DFB Pokal and we just absolutely batter them eventually. The first half was a bit boring. The second half, we decided we're just going to score all the goals. And finally, in the Bundesliga, we have won back-to-back Bundesliga titles because we have finished top of the table. 27 wins in the end, 6 draws, only 6, and 1 defeat against Leipzig, which means we beat Bayern twice. We beat Dortmund twice as well, by the looks of it. So the only team, obviously, we lost to Leipzig, and we drew with Leipzig. So we never beat Leipzig, but it doesn't matter because we won the league by a massive 12 points. We are back-to-back champions of Germany. Obviously, we've had a youth intake as well because we are still not finished. We've got 1 more season to go. We've got Kevin Weber, who has come in. He's got lots of arrows going upwards. His value, though, isn't particularly high. 4-star potential, though, on Weber. We've got Lazzarini. His value is pretty decent. I like the value there. I think there could be something with Lazzarini. Obviously, we're not going to look at absolutely everybody. We've got Mario Lorbel, who is a 15-year-old goalkeeper who might be okay. I'm not too convinced on that one. Anyone there that I'm thinking might be interesting? Let's have a look at this guy here. He doesn't look too bad at all. Maybe we've actually not got a terrible intake at all. The last thing to do then is look at the players. We have got 5 players who have broken double figures when it comes to goals. So Rodolfo Caballero, the first one, 44 goals in all league competitions, in just league goals for us actually, since signing. This season, 15 goals in all competitions, 8 of them coming in the league. We've got Tony Irwin, who only started 25. So I guess him and Arbeloda have probably been swapping. 23 goals in all competitions for Arbeloda. In fact, 25 once you include the Club World Cup. We've got, Irwin, now Arbeloda. He's got 30 in all competitions. He's really good at football. I know we kind of expected that to happen, but he's really good at football. Asani Diao, still scoring goals. Still scoring goals for fun. 28 goals in all competitions. In fact, 31 with the Club World Cup. And Russell Hammond, as an attacking midfielder, 28 goals, but 32 and 17 assists as well. And finally, let's take a look at Levin Kroner, the 19-year-old with now 12 caps and a goal to his name for the German national side. He's improving. He is getting better. I am wondering whether we need to lock him in next season or whether we just kind of let our assistant manager do what he wants to do, and Corona should hopefully be good enough to just get some game time by himself. That's going to do it then for Season 9. We've got one more season to go. Can we become back-to-back champions of Germany? And can we finally win the Champions League? I don't think we can do the Champions League, but 3-time champions of Germany, that sounds pretty good. It is the final season of our Youth to Gold save with VfB Stuttgart, and we are in 4 competitions this season. We have got the German Super Cup, the DFB Pokal, the Champions League, and obviously the Bundesliga as well. The Bundesliga that we are currently back-to-back champions for. Can we make it 3 for 3? That would be a great way to end this save. Obviously, being a Building a Nation save, we are supposed to sell anybody over the age of 30, but luckily for us, we don't have anybody remotely really close to the age of 30. Asani Diao is the only one who is getting there, but he is still technically has another 2 seasons left in him, and we don't have to sell him. However, maybe if a decent offer comes in, we might consider it. The thing is, we don't really need the money because we've got £83 million in our transfer budget. We've got £361 million in our overall budget. We are ridiculously loaded, and I don't really know what we can do with this money. Because we can only buy players who are basically teenagers, it means that our kind of pool of players that we can actually purchase is getting pretty small. So far on the 1st of July, we have yet to purchase anybody. Obviously, that will change, and we are going to jump forward to the end of the initial transfer window to see if we do spend any or much of this £83 million. Being the last season, I kind of feel like we need to spend all of it and finish with 0 transfer budget. I don't know how easy that's going to be. We might just waste a lot of money on just some absolute garbage. It's now the 1st of September, and our transfer budget has gone from 83 or something like that million pounds to 146.25 million pounds. Yeah, we might have a very busy January if I'm going to try and spend all of that money. The reason why our transfer budget has gone up so much higher is because we've sold a fair few players. Robson Borges is one of them, who is now 26 years of age. He's also German, which is quite nice to see. He's moved over to Vigo for £3.8 million. Milson has also left the club, returning to his native Brazil, signing for Flamengo. He has gone for £8 million, possibly going up to 8.75 million. Al-Bamoudi, a player that I think we signed in Season 1, has moved over to Al-Tai over in Saudi Arabia for £11.75 million. Ilakena has also moved over to Saudi Arabia, signing for Al-Attifaq. He has gone for £17.5 million. A player that was really good for us the first couple of seasons, or first season, and then we just didn't play him anymore, did we? And finally, Roberto has moved across Germany over to sign for Hertha for a massive 27.5, possibly going up to 28.5 million pounds. A player who, he was good, but I don't think he was necessarily good enough. We did force play him for a few seasons, or half a season, or something along those lines, and I don't think he's going to get much better than this. So that's a lot of money for a player who is, he's good. He's a good player, but he's not amazing, is he? Joining the club then, for £775,000, Jesse Hollander, an 18-year-old Dutch striker, immediately going out on loan to Reading. We have struggled to spend money, okay? I'll be honest with you. He's not cost much. We've loaned him out straight away. For £10 million, we have brought in, hopefully, a future number 1 goalkeeper in the shape of Kevin Orr, a Scottish youngster, 5 under-21 caps. He is signed from Hibs. £10 million is the fee, and it's steep. It is definitely steep, but he was playing in the Scottish Premiership last season at the age of 18, or 17 in fact, for most of the season. So I think there's definitely a future here. And obviously, he's gone out on loan to Oxford United. And finally, for £17.75 million, we brought in 18-year-old Irish under-21 international Aaron O'Carroll from Borussia Mönchengladbach. Basically, much like last season where I said we needed to sign players from Germany because the board were getting annoyed, O'Carroll is one of those players that we've signed from other teams in Germany. And he's Irish for some reason. He's also, there's potential. There's definitely potential. The value's there. The potential ability is there. He's probably not worth £18 million or whatever we spent on him, but it doesn't really matter. I've desperately tried to spend this money and failed miserably because I've brought in more money than I've actually spent. We brought in £80 million when you factor in all the loans as well. So Mucka to Rennes, Vessi to Porto, Palomino to Norwich, Slack has gone to Colne. We've also got Asani Diao going on loan to Liverpool, Morea to Newcastle, Amato to Everton, Kesamenli, I would never say his name right, he's gone to Nuremberg alongside Achterfield, Gonzalez to Kaiserslautern, we've got Kulja to Elversberg, we've got Altvatar to Dusseldorf, Hollander, Gutierrez, Koulibaly all going on loan to Reading, Liverpool and Barnsley. We've also got Karizulo. Who's this guy? I think he came through a youth intake. He's gone on loan to Ingolstadt, and so has Jason Green, another player who I think came through a youth intake very, very many years ago, and obviously Kevin Orr going on loan to Oxford. Marcelo Gutierrez is obviously very good. He just doesn't play for us, which is why we've loaned him to Liverpool. If he goes there and gets some game time, that'll be very good for him. Obviously, doesn't really matter for us at this point because this is the final season of our Youth to Gold save. A Youth to Gold save, by the way, where our oldest player on our starting 11, or not even our starting 11, in our first team, is 26 and it's Sebastian Hughes, and he's utterly ridiculous, isn't he? We brought 2 players from West Ham for stupid money, 45 million for Hughes, and where is Russell Hammond? Obviously, we spent like 90 million on him, and he's insanely good. He is insanely good with 11 England caps for some reason. Why are you not getting in the England squad? I mean, he is in there, but is it because they don't play an attacking? They do. It's Phil Foden. Phil Foden is keeping Hammond out of the England starting 11, which is ridiculous, okay? It is ridiculous. Hammond is a better footballer, I think. I'm not convinced he's a better footballer, but, I mean, Foden's 34, he's 24. Get Hammond in. Anyway, that is obviously the transfers. We are currently top of the Bundesliga. 2 wins so far out of 2. We have beaten Kiel and Freiburg. We're in the Champions League. We're in the DFB Pokal up against Mainz. And we have won the German Super Cup, beating RB Leipzig 3-2. So back-to-back winners of the German Super Cup. Back-to-back winners so far of the Bundesliga. Can we make it 3 for 3? And I think we might be back-to-back winners as well, the DFB Pokal. No, we're not. We've won it. I mean, we've won it twice so far in our 10 seasons. Can we win it a third time? Anyway, you probably did notice that we have locked in one player this season, and it is Mazinho. Now, the reason why we're locking in Mazinho, because I want him to be a left winger, and he isn't, okay? He can't play as a left winger, but we are going to force him playing as that left winger position. He's obviously going to train to be a left winger as well, so there's potential there. I want him to get better. I want him to get some game time, so he's going to be out on that left-hand side, learning a trade, turning into a world-class footballer. Hopefully by the end of the season, I want to see 3-star ability as an inside forward on that left-hand side for Mazinho. Anyway, let's jump forward then to the 1st of January. The transfer window will reopen, but obviously the main focus will be how well have we done in the Champions League in our first 6 matches. And also as well, are we still going to be top of the Bundesliga? I would love to win it 3 times in a row. So on the 1st of January, obviously we can see the DFB Pokal here. We've made it through to the quarterfinals. We played in the first round. We played Garching, beating them 14-0. In the second round, we then played Mainz, eventually just about getting past them 2-0 after extra time. In the third round, we managed to go past Nuremberg 2-0 as well, setting up a quarterfinal tie up against Borussia Dortmund. A Borussia Dortmund tie that can probably beat us, which is annoying. I would have rather had Kaiserslautern, St. Pauli, Bayer or Hertha. Realistically, those are the teams that you want to be drawing, but unfortunately for us, it is going to be Dortmund. In the Bundesliga, we are still top of the table. We have lost our first match of the season up against Hoffenheim, a team who are third. They've done really, really well. We've drawn twice as well against Wolfsburg and Bayern. And then there you can see a selection of our 14 victories. So top of the table, you can see Irwin, top goal scorer, Arbelola, second or third top goal scorer, Hammond, Ortiz and Irwin up there with the average ratings. Hammond has 8 assists, 5 man of the match awards, 8 clean sheets in 17 matches for Kadlec as well. And 5 yellow cards for Edgar Ortiz. Not that that really makes a difference, because that's not really a stat that you want to be celebrating, is it? And in the Champions League, we are top of the table. 6 wins out of 6. And we have already qualified with 2 games to go. So we have managed to beat Porto, Chelsea, Feyenoord, Copenhagen, RB Leipzig and Tottenham. We have got 2 more matches to play, which will be up against Bilbao and Valencia. 2 matches I certainly think we are good enough to win as well. Before we talk about players who have joined the club, I just want to have a quick look at Mazinho. He is 21 years of age now. He's going to be 22 in the space of a month or so, and he is now a fully qualified left winger. His certificate has been signed and printed and has been emailed over to him, so he is going to be hopefully mounting that and laminating that and putting that on his wall for his entire family to see, which is good. I mean, he's alright, isn't he? I'm not convinced that playing him as a left winger was the best idea, but he's got his stats, he's got his numbers, he's only going to get better. And yes, I did mention that we have signed a brand new player, and that is Mateus, an 18-year-old Brazilian left back and left winger, and I brought him in to be a left winger until I went, hold on, Mazinho is actually doing alright there and he can play there. Mateus was available on a free transfer after his contract expired, so I think I agreed this like 6 months before, like in the August time or something along those lines. But yeah, he's left Flamengo joined us on a free transfer. He's dropped down to the under-19s because, let's face it, he's never going to get in the starting 11. And that's all we have done so far. Obviously, it is the 1st of January. It's 9 a.m. We've only brought in one player. Financially, we've got £147 million to spend. I don't think we're going to spend it. Let's find out. First of all, then, on the 2nd of February, 2 players have left the club on loan deals. Mateus is one of them. He's moved over to Angers until the end of the season. And youngster and German international Max Günther has moved over to HSV. He's only played 8 times for our first team, but he's played 7 times for the German national side. I don't understand how you're getting into the German side without actually playing football for us. It's a bit weird. I guess you're playing a lot for VfB Stuttgart too, scoring some goals there. But yeah, he's gone on loan to HSV until the end of the season. He's obviously going to get some game time and probably just turn into a world-class footballer. He's already described as a Wonderkid, apparently. Joining the club, then, we have spent a total of about £21 million. I tried to spend all the money, and I can't bring myself to do it just because the money's there and it's a computer game and it's not real money. I still can't do it, okay? I still can't bring myself to spend £141 million or whatever it was for the sake of spending £141 million. We have brought in Kim Sang-min, an 18-year-old South Korean central defender with 8 caps to his name, signed from Suwon Blue Wings in his native South Korea. He's cost £1 million. And for £20.5 million, a player who is just as good, if not worse. Andrea Mercato is an 18-year-old Italian centre-back signed from Inter Milan. Like I said, £20.5 million. It's a lot of money. He's got 2 caps, 1 or 2 under-21 caps, and 1 goal to his name as well. Obviously is one for the future. We'll probably get the odd game here or there. He is realistically as good as Nicoli. I think we can probably even compare him with Nicoli if we can find him. They're very similar players, which means why did I buy Mercato? Because Nicoli is basically the same human being. Although Mercato is much better technically, Nicoli is better mentally, and they're about the same physically. I think probably Mercato just about takes it. But that is it. That is everything we've done. We've done 2 transfers out, both of them on loan, 2 transfers in on permanent deals. We've spent £50 million this season. We have still got £125 million left to spend. I have, by the way, been asking the board to buy the stadium, do the facilities and everything like that, but I think the facilities are basically there anyway. They don't want to buy the stadium. They're just like, what's the point? I mean, you're spending £4 million a year and 8% of the gate receipts every single match. But yeah, apparently that's fine. We'll just take that. I mean, to be fair, looking how much money we've got, it's clearly not affecting our budget. Other things to mention then, Bundesliga still top of the table, 20 games played, 16 wins, 3 draws, 1 defeat. Champions League, it is 8 for 8, beating Valencia and Bilbao, Porto, Chelsea, Feyenoord, Copenhagen, Leipzig and Tottenham. A positive 20 goal difference. We conceded 3, so we scored 23 goals. Could we win the Champions League in our final season? Judging by this performance, yes, we should be good enough to do it. However, it is the Champions League, and we often fall over very early on in that. Last thing to do then before we jump to the end of the season and the end of our 10-year time in charge of VfB Stuttgart for our Youth to Gold save, Mazinho will keep his place as that left winger. He is unhappy because he wants a new contract. Maybe we'll give you one, okay? Maybe. Let's jump forward to the end of the season. In what was a repeat of last season's DFB Pokal final, we play Bayer in the final and we take the lead after 43 minutes. Caballero is the man to tuck that ball away. Halfway through the second half, we double our lead. Evans finds Hammond on the ground to Irwin. Mazinho's there on that left-hand side. First time effort from the Brazilian. Puts that ball away into the top corner. Great finish for a right-footed player with his left foot. And as you can tell, that means the match is over and we win the DFB Pokal 2-0 in the final. Back-to-back champions of the DFB Pokal. Can we do it in the Bundesliga and make it 3 for 3? Yes, we can, and we do it comfortably as well. This is a match up against Bayern. Caballero collects the ball in the middle, on the ground, to Tony Irwin to take the lead early in the second half. And we double our lead in the 93rd minute. Caballero's cross comes in. Arbeloa doesn't quite get there, but it is on the head of Martinovic to make it 2-0. And we are champions of the Bundesliga for 3 times in a row. Not only that, though, we dominated Bayern. Absolutely dominated them in this match. Much like we did the entire league, to be honest. We finished on 89 points, 1 defeat against Hoffenheim, which was very early on. 5 draws, 28 wins. If we have a look and go back to the first season where we won it, which was this one here. We finished on 88 points, then 87, and then 89 points. So it is our best season ever when it comes to a points haul. We did lose a match, which we didn't in our first time we were champions, but we are 3-time champions of the Bundesliga. That is a good way to end it. But what would be an even better way to end it is winning the Champions League. And up against Inter Milan, we take the lead after 9 minutes. Krona, with an overhead kick from the centre-back, opens the scoring. A few minutes later, however, Inter managed to pull one back. Doku down the left-hand side, keeps running towards the area. 3 options in the middle. Does he use any of them? No, he does not. He just tucks that ball straight away into the back of the net. And then, about 20 minutes later, Inter take the lead. Ortiz can't quite get the ball off Doku. He goes for another little run down the left. This time he's probably going to cross it. Finds Moratala, and it's 2-1 to Inter Milan. And that 2-1 defeat means we got knocked out in the round of 16. We didn't get even close to the final. But the fact that we've just seen Krona score an overhead kick, I'm very happy with that. I didn't even know he was going to score an overhead kick. He scored 1 goal in the Champions League, and it was that goal that we scored, which was an overhead kick. That's just ridiculous. He didn't score a league goal. He scored twice in the DFB Pokal. He's good at football. It was a sensible bit of business. Yes, it was expensive, £73 million, but he's getting into the starting 11 on merit. He's gone from 2.5-star current ability to 3.5-star current ability. Krona has been a good signing. Anyway, that's not what we were talking about, was it? It was the Champions League. We did get knocked out by Inter Milan in the round of 16. We managed to get through the league, obviously winning all 8 matches and then immediately falling out the first hurdle, which is not ideal. The final was won by Chelsea, and RB Leipzig managed to get all the way through to the final, but did lose on penalties. Not that it really makes any difference. We did have a youth intake as well. One man is probably worth mentioning, and that is Tom Allerhelligen, could be his name, a 15-year-old German winger, worth 3.3 to 6.8 million pounds, so definitely has a bit of potential there. A few other players as well. So our time in charge of VfB Stuttgart comes to an end. Can we see how we did? Is there a way of doing this? I'm sure there's a way of doing this. I mean, we can have a look here, can't we? So, in our time in charge of VfB Stuttgart, season 1, or not season 1, sorry, but one of the seasons, 2029, we won the DFB Pokal, we won the Europa League, we won the UEFA Super Cup, we won the greatest competition known to man, the European South American Club Challenge competition. We won the Bundesliga, the Club World Cup, the Super Cup, the Bundesliga, the DFB Pokal, the German Super Cup, the Bundesliga, and the DFB Pokal once again. Who's won this since we've won it? VfB Stuttgart, Newcastle, Man United and Nantes. Nantes have managed to win it. After spending billions, literal billions of pounds, they've won a trophy. Fair play. So 10 seasons comes to an end in charge of VfB Stuttgart. We spent a lot of money. But we also have ourselves some ridiculously good footballers. We've got 3 players who are 4.5 or 5-star. Arbeloda being one of them. He is the worst of the 3, although I wouldn't technically say he's bad at football. He's just ridiculous. And what did he cost us? He cost us £3.7 million from America to Cali. We've got Russell Hammond, who is obviously our most expensive signing, and probably the most expensive signing I will ever do on FM24, maybe even FM26 if that ever comes out as well. Russell Hammond was good at football. It was a silly transfer. It was a risky transfer, but it certainly paid off. And then Tony Irwin as well. Again, this was a transfer I wasn't quite convinced. He didn't cost a huge amount of money. He had a pretty decent season, or 2 decent seasons, or 1.5 decent seasons, I guess, playing for Celtic. And I went, you know what, let's just go for it. And he's got so many greens. So many greens. If we were continuing the save, I'd be tempted to try and change the formation so we have 2 strikers. Because we've got Arbeloda and Irwin, who should be playing first-team football. And they can't both do it. The final thing I will end on is Mikel Gonzalez, a player who was an experiment. I bought him in season 31, 32, maybe even before then, actually. I bought him before then. I bought him in season 1. I bought him in season 1 for £2 million with the hope that he'd turn into a half-decent footballer. At the age of 27, he's okay. And that's as good as we can say. He's okay. He's a 6'5" unit. He's not really improving. He's still got some potential, apparently. I love trying to buy players like this. It just never seems to work out.